Wait, what?
What?
Oh,
yeah,
frick, I messed it up.
that's like the same as the bomb one.
Wait, what?
What are you doing here?
What the hell is this? Even more like a dick.
God, bro.
There we go. All right. I'm gonna hop in now. So I'm trying to like test out these artifacts and give them some decoration. Maybe I'll give you guys some artifacts to experiment.
Okay, finally I'm back in.
Time to go look at 2 rooms, find 1 artifact. Oh, okay.
I mean, like, bro, so the mechanics of the game are fun, like finding different artifacts and being able to like draw, you know, just to
what is the
customize them,
point of
tell
like
what they
this?
are. But yeah, like there's no like real overarching like motive to get through the game. Like, there's something about the levels that makes them interesting. Like, there's nothing about the game loop that like it keeps you invested. It's just so basic, and there's like not really any real challenge here. To, like,
That is a good point.
You know,
yeah, they need to put more effort into the monsters and the threat.
Yeah, like that was my like main issue. But, like,
yeah, like the actual goal of the game, like collecting the artifacts to get it into thing is like, you know, fine, whatever. But the thing is that it's the same fucking way to do it every time. Is go through random rooms that, you know, let's be honest, don't have very much variation at all. And you bring them back to the thing, you put them in, boom, you're at the next level. What are you doing?
What just happened?
Okay.
How did I die?
I just fucking died.
What the frick?
You killed both of us, Biggie. Good job.
I don't even know what happened, dude. I didn't see anything.
Well, I don't know what happened either, but I know it's your fault, so fuck you.
Okay, well, frick me then.
Yeah, bro. A dude pushing 40 talking about some frick mean.
What the fuck?
Get past an artifact, BT dubs, Mr. Dill.
I don't really care about it. Like, I'm just like...
Bro was pushing 3 talking about I'm so good.
Like, look at this shit,
To sum it up, furry feet is peak. Goof pushing 50.
You get that from
At this point, bro, if Furry Feet's
no
multiplayer, we might just do that for a Friendslop Friday.
Well, you said what?
If Furry Feet is multiplayer, we might just do that for a Friendslop Friday.
It's, bro, it's a single player puzzle.
I don't get why we didn't do my fucking suggestion. Just go with fucking Stumble Guys. I really do that.
Oh yeah, bro, I forgot about that.
Bro, there's a lot of artifacts in there. You better.
Wait, I have to make like a
Glorp,
list of
Glorp, pick those up.
Like,
pick those up,
Glorp. On my phone.
Be careful.
For like stuff for Friendslop Friday. I gotta make notes of this. Glorp, why are you only picking up one thing? What? Pick up everything. Okay, he's putting it into things.
He's probably picking up the bad ones and putting them in. One way, Glorp!
Oh no, Glorp
died. Yeah, boy.
Well, he's lost, so I think we can get off the game now.
No, one more time, come on. There's so many more artifacts to explore.
Ho. Why do you actually want to play this, Tia?
Yes. I don't know. I like it. It's goofy. It's like silly. I'm not gonna play it the rest of my life.
Yeah,
but...
it's goofy. All right, it's pretty silly, but it's also pretty fucking boring.
That's why you gotta make the content, dude.
Minutes. You could just say that you
to
get the YouTube content. It's okay.
Bro, nobody on YouTube's playing this game.
Where you need to make your own fun, bro. The point of the game is that it should just be fun playing it.
Not true, dude.
The fact that you literally need to make your own fun in the game makes this shit so buns.
What about Jackbox? That's literally all about making your own fun.
Okay, well, bro, the game's literally about that. And also, I don't even like Jackbox that much. That's a bad example.
I don't like it, so that's a bad example. I don't like it, so it sucks.
Like it.
No, I'm mimicking you, dude. I'm your mimesis. By the way, guys, we need some artifacts in here.
My point is that you're trying to prove to me that this game model works. Instead of bringing up a game that I like, you bring up another game that I think isn't that good.
Okay, DBD.
Gothic Fun would have been a better example.
Oh yeah, bro. Yeah, like Mr. D. You see what I'm saying here? My point, right?
I mean, yeah. I mean, Gothic Phone's a better example because he likes Gothic Phone.
Well, yeah, but that's the entire point of Garlic Phone, bro. But like, this is like a game. Like,
Guys, we need to put some artifacts in the machine.
Wait, man, I'm not
games
gonna lie.
need a base amount of fun for it to be valid to make fun out of it. Like, yeah, like games like Garlic Phone and Jackbox, that's like completely dependent on other people. But this isn't a game like that. This is not like a party game. This is a game where you have like a goal you're actually supposed to achieve.
Open up Twitch tomorrow. I'm gonna open up Twitch tomorrow and I'm gonna see Big Miss.
Does this game cost money? Absolutely not. If this costed money, we would not be playing it. I'll tell you that right now.
Hey, Goofball, you know how every man dreams about having their own place, their own home, own house?
Yeah?
So if you always think about having somewhere else to go to, somewhere else is going to be better, then you're always going to feel empty. But if you carry that with you, if you carry that sense of home with you, if you carry the fun in every game you play, every game will be fun.
All right, well, let me just take your analogy and put it into perspective what you're saying right now. So basically, we're at an old, decrepit fucking house infested with rats, falling apart, like literal planks of wood from the second story falling down every few minutes or so. It's a hazardous to be in. There's probably a fucking heroin needle somewhere because drug addicts use it for cover over the night because they don't have a home to go back to. You're basically saying, oh yes, yeah, so you could just find the home in any building that you're in. So just take this old decrepit house that is literally a hazard to live in, and just instill your sense of home into that. Instead of, and keep this in mind, I'm perfectly well able to move to any other home. I can move to a fucking 5-story mansion that doesn't have any of these problems. And then you're insisting I make do with this shitty house that is probably gonna get me fucking killed.
But why is it that you need to go to the 5-story mansion in order to feel that sense of home? Why is it that the homeless bum living there is not allowed to feel a sense of home there? If he doesn't have the other option, if he can't afford this 5-story mansion, why can't he enjoy this simple home he's living in?
But that's different, bro, because he can't.
My point is that I'm not a homeless bum. I'm not. Why should I pretend like I'm one and settle for this?
You've been spoiled by so many games, dude.
So your point is that since I played better games before, I should just start playing shit games now?
My point is that you've lost the whimsicalness of the game. You've lacked the ability to play any game and enjoy it because you're constantly thinking about how the game is going to make you enjoy it.
I'm not gonna enjoy it.
Let me put what Big Miss is trying to say in in smaller words, bro. He's trying to say, not about the game, it's about having fun with your friends while playing the game.
Yeah, and my point is that I could play like literally any other game that has multiplayer, and I could have multitudes more levels of fun than this shit. That's my point.
You don't like to join?
He plays as games all the time. Look at his DVD hours. Weren't you playing Genshin Impact earlier today, Dirt Soil Mouch? That's not even a question. That's more of a statement. Because I literally did see you on it.
Seth,
so
hentai golf can be peak.
About some bad games. I can have hobbies, then I can too. Thank you very much. Now sit down, be a good little girl, and watch the stream, little bud. All right, how's that?
Yeah.
So since this game is so good, and you find your sense of home in this game, Biggie, I suppose that you'll be streaming this game for the next week, right?
My sense of home is not in the game. That's not what I was saying. I said I bring my sense of home with me so I can enjoy any game that I play. That doesn't mean that I'll stick around with this game, but it means that while I do play it, I will do my best to enjoy it.
You can find a sense of home in any game you play, so you can find a sense of home in this game, right?
Sure, yeah. Well, no, not in the game.
Why do you only play
the
this
home
game
is in my game. I mean,
how about that?
Look, the home is in me. I bring the home with me.
Exactly. The home is in you, so the next 5 times you stream, I want you to only play this, because the game doesn't matter, because that sense of home is in you. So I better not see you on no battle chats.
No, that's not fair, because I'm saying the game doesn't matter. Because I can play any other game and still have that sense of home. I'm not insisting that I have to play this game.
So I want to see you play this game for the next 5
game feels unique.
Just looking at that sense of home with you.
It's not. What are you talking about, goofball? You're not understanding me.
Big Miss, if you really want to.
All right, well, what am I misunderstanding?
Look, when we played Dig Dig Die, when we played the last game, when we played this game, I've enjoyed every game that we played because I'm able to bring that sense of enjoyment to any game. That sense of curiosity, the sense of appreciation. I can watch any movie and still see what the artist is thinking. I can still appreciate it for what it is. It doesn't mean that I'm going to rave about every movie or every game that I play. But every game and every movie that I indulge with, I will do my best to enjoy it and to appreciate it for what it is.
Wait,
I'm doing my best to enjoy this game for what it is, and you wanna know what it is? It's ass. It fucking sucks.
That's not a fair assessment.
How is that not a fair assessment?
Someone has put the effort into this game. Someone put hard work into this game. Just that fact alone means you should not be calling it ass. I mean, this could be some really close friend, some best friend you've had all your life, someone close to you who's decided to make this game, and you're just calling it ass and calling it buns when they could be working on it all by themselves. If Mr. Dill made
this, I'd still shit on it just the same. It's irrelevant who made it. The fact is that the game is bad.
But why can you? Why are you allowed to say that it is bad?
Exactly, Dirt Soil Mouch. Like, bro, I'm sure that, you know. Oh, how about this, Biggie Mints?
Well, no, you can have a good shit.
No,
Dirt Soil, you're wrong.
Here's what I'm about to say. So, women always put effort into labor when they're giving birth, right? Like, there's always a level of effort there when women are giving birth, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So does that mean that every, criminal is, good just because there's effort put into them? Like, was Adolf Hitler a good guy, since I'm sure his mom had a hard time giving birth?
Well, that's funny you say that, though, because a mother does not give birth to a criminal. They give birth to a child.
A child that becomes a criminal.
The child may decide to become a criminal. However, the mother does not give birth to a criminal. They give birth to a child that later on in life ends up becoming a criminal, ends up committing a crime.
And that child is still their creation, so you can't criticize that mother's creation just because they did something bad, right?
If you go through that logic, everyone is a criminal because everyone in some line in their family is at some point breaking a law or becoming a criminal.
Well, no, I'm not saying that the child being bad makes the mother a criminal. I'm saying, like, your logic is that just
right, but if I am a criminal,
you can't criticize it. It can't be bad. You can't say it's bad.
Well, no,
so by that logic, you can't say that Adolf Hitler is bad just because he did the Holocaust, because, you know, his mother never wanted him to end up like that, and his mother put effort into giving birth to him, right?
That's a fallacy.
How's that a fallacy?
You're saying that the actions of Adolf Hitler create his mother being bad, make his mother bad?
I'm not saying that. I'm applying your logic. Your logic is that as long as somebody puts effort into something, then that means that you can't criticize it because they put effort into it. So, you know, you can't call it bad.
When you create a game is not free will. You're connecting two things that aren't comparable. A game does not have free will. It is an art piece. An art piece, if that art piece decided to walk away and murder someone, that is the fault of the art piece.
Well, okay. Let's just say you can't connect the two, because guess why Hitler did all the things he did? Because he didn't get into a art school.
Exactly, Mr. D. Exactly.
So
wait, what point are you trying to make?
You can't connect the two. You just say you can't.
Exactly. Because you said you can't connect it because it's art compared to a living person. But the whole reason why he turned naughty is because he couldn't get into art school.
Well, that's not the only reason. It was also because there is a big need in the country for a leader, which is why when people went along with him.
Is the reason why Adolf did what he did. Because his friends, his family, they all encouraged him. Like, Adolf, your art's great, man. It's great. You should totally apply to art school. And he did. And we got it rejected because his art was shit. You know, he did all those bad things. And he became the dictator that we all know today.
Okay, so in the situation of the game, what is the art?
All right, so now we're pivoting away from the point because you don't have a counterpoint.
No, I'm trying to see what the hell you're going to, and I'm trying to bring it back to what we're talking about. If we're talking about a game not being objectively bad, what does that have to do with Adolf Hitler?
Hey, y'all motherfuckers so funny.
Well, I literally just connected all the dots here. I'm taking your logic that you're saying. You're saying that
the art is just a title. Calling it artwork, I could call it music. Adolf Hitler didn't get kicked out of a music school. I could call it a sports game. He didn't get kicked out of a sports game.
No, but that's not the point. Is that it's a medium of art. The point is that your logic is what caused him to go down that road. Because your logic is that whenever somebody puts effort into any art, you cannot call it bad.
I'm not saying you can't call it bad.
Okay, well then what are we arguing about? Because I just want to call the game bad because it is bad.
Look, you can call it bad, but you cannot say that it is bad. That it is inherently bad.
Well, bro, calling it bad is saying it is bad. That's the same thing.
That's not true, because when you say I think the game is bad, you're objectifying that you have an opinion. You're saying that the way you feel about it is that it is bad. It's like saying I think versus I am. I think I'm a giant. I think I'm 6'2". I think I'm fit, but I am not. So I can't say that I am.
Who has ever said they think they're fit when they're fat as fuck? But
plenty of people, dude.
Who?
Just because you think something does not mean it becomes actualized.
All these people who think that state that. They don't say I think, they say I am.
I ain't gonna lie, but y'all some funny motherfuckers.
But the statements they're making are invalid. Or I could say the sky is purple. That doesn't mean that the sky is purple.
So basically, while Biggie Mints is going on a big philosophical tangent, because I said that this game is ass, and he's saying that I can't call it ass because somebody put effort into it, so I cannot sit here and object.
I don't know why you keep going back to that point. All right, you can say whatever you want about the game.
Is that not your entire point?
No, the point was that I'm able to enjoy a game, and that you should also enjoy any game that you play. Because it is not the responsibility of the game. They're not making it for you individual. For you as an individual. They're making a game for them to be proud of. For them to create. How you feel about it.
They're making a game for the players.
Yes, and there are many more players than just you.
Big Miss is trying to say...
Yeah, and the idea is that you want to appeal to the majority of players.
I got what he's trying to say, man. He's trying to say that they're trying to make a game, right? For everyone on the platform to play. Even if it's not your type of game, you should go into it open-minded to try and enjoy the game. That's what he's trying to say.
Yeah, I did, and it
got
boring after 10 minutes.
It feels like half the games that we play for Friendslop Friday, you guys just trash on.
Well, yeah, because most of them are just like free games that was probably made in less than a month absolute tops that the devs didn't really put any real effort into.
But how do you know that? How can you make that assumption?
By the quality of the games, and I can tell through the
of course, they're going to think that when you're used to playing games that are developed by big companies that are able to put so much effort into their games that are created by so many individual people working on one title. Most of the games we play have such small teams.
All right, you want to know how I know that's not true? I love all the original Five Nights at Freddy's games, and most of those games were made in such a small amount of time, under 6 months, by one person. I think that they're all very good games.
Yes, of course, I agree with you, but it would be unfair to make the comparison between Five Nights at Freddy's and Shakira Shadows Die Twice. Those are totally different companies, totally different goals, totally different intentions, different audiences.
A, I don't even know what that second game you're talking about is. And B,
okay, GTA 5, created by this huge company with a huge budget. I mean...
Okay.
I mean, Scott Cawthon got really lucky with Five Nights at Freddy's, and I think that it is a fun game. I think the community has really run with it, and they've done a lot for it. But if you just immediately look at this and say that this is trash, that this is not of any value, that's not fair.
Oh, that's not what I did. I played the game for over an hour at this point, and that's my assessment of the game. It's bad.
But Scott Cawthon is a perfect example for this, because every single game he made before FNAF was complete shit.
Like, exactly, yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Salsa.
When he jumps into FNAF, it's a good game. But like, I feel like the thing with this is that it's a small group, right, trying to make a game, and
Scott Cawthon's a smaller group. He's one person.
Of course, yes, but you know, look, Goofball, you know how many games he made before he made FNAF, dude. He made so many games.
A ton of games before, and you also got to think you're comparing the game genres. It's easy to make one genre. It's way easier to make like the FNAF game. Like you go in mind, okay, I could do this, I could do that. Like it's easier to put that game together than like something like this. And they probably did put effort into this. It just didn't turn out anywhere close to like how they wanted it to be.
All right, well, I want to circle back real quick. the point that I was addressing with why I brought up Scott Cawthon is that Vicky said, "Oh, we're used to playing all these games made by huge companies with huge budgets and huge amounts of time." And my point was that I do enjoy games other than that. Like, for example, Five Nights at Freddy's, the one I brought up, that's made by one person in the span of a few months. And that game is actually well made. It's interesting. It's fun. The graphics are good. It's compelling, which this game is none. It's none at all.
Look, I understand the point you're making, and I do agree with you that like Scott Cawthon is a great example. However, just like Salsa brought up, he created so many games until he took some feedback about how people hated his art style and turned it into the focus of a game and decided to make it a horror game using his classic art style, and ended up doing really well. The creator of this game could be creating the first of many games that will suck, that will not do well, until one of them will do well. But if you just keep thrashing on everything that they're creating, then you're not giving anything that they create a chance.
I'm not. I played one of their games. I'm saying it's bad. I never once did I say, "Oh, the guy who made this game is ass." They do not have the capacity to make good games at all. All I'm saying is that this game is ass. And yeah, if I played Scott Cawthon's other games, I probably would have called them ass because they were. And then he made Five Nights at Freddy's, which was not ass. Maybe this developer will make a game that's better than Five Nights at Freddy's. I don't know that.
But you also got to think about this game is that they're trying to just quickly throw together a game, which can pull in players. Since Friendslop is like a hot topic in the game genre right now, they're trying to
exactly. This game was not made with nearly as much thought as something like Five Nights at Freddy's.
That is very true. Yes, that's a great point.
Also, wait,
that's my whole point.
Hold on, Mr. Dillon. Just stop you real quick. After your point, I want to read the chat real quick so then we can get their thoughts in on this conversation. Because I'm seeing a lot of, stuff coming in through the chat. I don't want to lead them out. So after your point, we'll pivot over to the chat.
But anyways,
okay.
Like FNAF, that was like thought out, right? He had so many games before this. Obviously, is maybe your second game from like this game developer, where they're trying to quickly throw something together. It's like when, like on YouTube or like on Twitch, right? When a new game comes out, everyone starts playing it. You gotta like hop on the trend, like Dispatch, for example, right? Like everyone's playing that, and then you have to start playing Dispatch to get viewers, get content, alright? Like this game,
it's like Yubus and R6 because Jitty started playing it again.
Whatever fucking Jitty plays. Like this game is a game they try to throw together real quick with a little fun gimmick to get players to play their Friendslop game. So it's Friendslop. Obviously, it's not gonna be good, and they can't put a price on it because then the game would have to be like they'd have to put more effort, spend more money on the game, and nobody would play a game like this if it cost money. So
yeah, exactly.
I mean, for it being free, it's not the worst game. But I mean, they could have done a lot more stuff to it. It's not like,
yeah.
Alright, you can read your chat now.
All right. Hold up.
And don't worry about it, Steph. Go get some rest. Appreciate you letting me know.
All right, let's see here.
Appreciate it.
Hi, stream. Our brains are shrinking. Waddle, get off TS shit. I've never heard stupid people talk this much.
Yeah, I know.
What's happening?
Silence.
This like in the game is equal to Hitler or something. He's having a big mood today. Effort does not equal good. That's exactly my point, Waddle. I bleep from my and take the effort, but the bleep is not that good. For real. Figments are seeing that games aren't meant for certain people. How long have we been on TS? Hey, I have a better question. Well, what's the question? Games with big budgets can also be, bro, what is this argument? This is a game to improve on / use the experience for a new game. Anyway, I have a question. I'd rather be on FNAF Hunted than listen to TS. We know that Scott made games that suck. This is a game by a dev that also sucks. Just because it's their first game doesn't mean it's not Also, we don't even know this is their first game. Go free chat. Ohio argument. You gotta put big mints down. Everyone state their core point right now. Goo-free task from here down. Chasing as a game is their first attempt at something doesn't mean just avoid a criticism. If anything, it should be criticized more so they can improve. You can recognize the good parts of something and also acknowledge that it's bleep from bleep. Are we done? Payment. Probably gonna head to bed. I thought I could do it, but I'm tired. Yo, hop on Bite by Night. Holy silence. Have a good rest of the stream. The silence. It's killing. But yeah, honestly, bro, Waddle's point, everyone state their core point right now. I think we should do that, bro.
I mean, I could, but I really don't have a core point. I'm just trying to like say.
I mean, you're not even like in the core argument, bro. It's like mostly it's me and Biggie.
I'm just trying to like say.
This isn't an argument. This is a discussion.
Yeah, it's more
of a... yeah, discussion. Yeah.
Come on, let's be civil about this.
You worded it wrong, bro. You say that.
Okay, so going back to my first point, the reason I brought this up.
Wait, hold on, Biggie Miss. I think they drew you on the wall, bro.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Look at that, bro.
Is that freaking Mrs. Puffs? That's so funny.
Yeah, thank you, Little Mud.
That's a good one.
Yeah, thank you. All right, you can continue on now.
Okay, so the initial point I was trying to make, I feel like a lot of times when we play games for Friendslop Friday, right? The whole idea, we give it the slop title, but it just doesn't feel right that we just play a game for a couple minutes and trash on it before we really give it a chance. Like, I get it. Half these games we play are just random out games. They're just demos. You guys are probably right. They were probably thrown together just like really quickly without a lot of effort put into it. But I still feel like we should at least try it and give it some sort of an experience. You know, at least try to experience what the game has to offer. And the thing is, most of the time when we play games, there's just so much negativity about the game. You guys have it feels like you guys have high expectations. With the point I was trying to make about bringing the enjoyment wherever I go is that I enjoy playing games because I enjoy playing a game. It doesn't really matter to me what the game is. Not every game is going to be amazing to me. There are some games that I do dislike, but I still try to bring an enjoyment to it, which is why I'm able to have so much fun with you guys despite playing these games.
Well, see, like, I kind of understand like what you're saying to an extent, but I feel like sometimes like, you know, there's just a certain game where it's just not fun. It's not a good game. Like, and I don't really feel like it's accurate the way you say we don't give these games a chance, because we were on Dig Dig Die for how long? Weren't we on that shit for like 2 hours? Like, hold on.
We spent more time in Dig Dig Die than we did other games that we played, though.
Yeah, exactly. And it was fucking ass. Like, my opinion on the game 30 minutes in was that it was ass. My opinion on the game 1 hour in was that it was ass. And my opinion on the game 2 hours in was that it was ass. I could have played the game for 5 more hours. I still would have thought it was ass. I probably would have thought it was more ass. I'd be so damn bored of it at that point.
Look, I think you're okay to think that. I think it's okay to give a game some time and to come up with that thought to think that the game is bad. But at least we've tried. At least we've seen what content there is to offer. At least we've tried it. We've given it its effort, put it in the spotlight, see what it does. But I feel like we just get to such a conclusion so quickly with these games. I mean, like by the first or second time we die in a game, we're just done and go to the next one, and then we go back on something we're already familiar with. I love trying out new games to see what people can create.
Well over an hour.
Yeah, I think we gave it plenty of time. I think you gave Dig Dig Die enough time to come to a conclusion. But other games, we don't give it that same amount of, time.
Well, give me an example of that where you think we didn't give it enough time.
The previous game, this game, and it's not always about time. Sometimes it's just about how much in the game you actually see. I mean, we did take a lot of time just drawing around. So by the time we actually got into the game, we were already like, oh, okay, we've been in this game for enough time. Let's get over it, go to the next one. But the previous game as well, I feel like it could have been a little interesting. Like as soon as I started to figure it out, I'm like, hold on now, let's see what this game can do. And then you guys were just wanting to go on to the next one. And I get it, we're tired, it's Friday, we've all had our week. But I still want to try to give these games a little bit of time just to see what they can do, just to play some more games with you guys rather than trying to go to what is already familiar, what we know we're going to enjoy It's like going to a new restaurant just because it's new, just because it's something you haven't tried before. Like, you can walk out of the restaurant and say the restaurant sucks, but at least you walked in there, you ordered something, you tried it.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying we shouldn't have played it. I'm saying my point is that we did order it and we did try it. You know, we ate, you know, a quarter of the steak, half the steak. Ugh, this thing is ass. This tastes bad. And you're essentially telling us, oh no, you need to finish it to say it's bad. Come on.
No, I'm not saying that.
I've already had enough of it to know it's bad.
But no, with the last game, it's like you didn't even order anything off the menu and walked out.
You know, I took a few bites. I knew it was bad. I feel like we
You
definitely
didn't even
did.
get to the food, though. You got lost in the menu. You couldn't figure out how to play the game, and that's fine. Some menus are trash, are organized terribly. Some games are organized terribly.
Okay.
All right, well,
to counteract that point,
wait, also, wait, before you say your thing, I want to say this real quick. Yeah, just to bring it up to that point, Biggie Mints, I feel like you know, a restaurant where they don't even give me a menu shouldn't be worth the time of day. And if there's no clear tutorial on that, it was extremely unclear, like how to play it, what exactly to do. I feel like any game where they can't even go out of their way to clearly explain what you're supposed to do and how you're supposed to do it, it's not even worth the time of day.
Yes, and that's okay to say.
Can I speak now?
Okay, so you can talk.
Yeah.
Because I literally just had experience last week, bro. I walked into a restaurant and you could tell it was not gonna be good, bro. Like, you walk in, you could tell there's like nobody there. The fucking soda fountain, the drink fountain, whatever the fuck you call it, it's leaking so bad that they're using buckets to get all the water and shit. The customer service is so bad. Nobody's in there.
You know, furniture's worn down.
Yes, exactly. That's what it was. They charge you $3 for a fucking water cup. Like, bro, you could sometimes it's very weird. It's very like uncommon or rare, but sometimes you go into that a restaurant like that and you'll be like, yeah, we're not eating here. The shit, like, you can just tell, like, even if the food somehow, some way comes out good, everything else is just so bad that it's not a point.
Right, but even that assessment that you give, I think, is fair. You know, but at least you gave it an assessment. At least you talked about it rather than just saying it's like that does nothing to understand the game or to understand the restaurant. Like, to just be like, there's a restaurant down the way. It's probably you know. But at least you walked up to it. You went in there.
Well, yeah, and we did that. So I'm failing to understand your point. I see what you're saying, that, like, you know, even if something looks shit, you still give it a chance. And we did that. We tried these games, and they were shit, expectedly. You know, I would have been open to being surprised and having the games actually be good, but I was not. They were, you know, just basically what I expected them to be. They were not very good. So, like, where do you think we went wrong here? Like, what are you saying that we're not doing correctly?
I think that I had finally ordered something off the menu and say, oh, this smells good, but you guys were already out the door.
What, so you're saying that we made our minds up too quick?
When you play with a lot of people, you're going to have a lot of perspectives. So it makes sense that I might feel differently about the games than you do. But if we're all playing together and I feel like I'm just getting dragged along, you guys just want to go to the next game and then go to the next game, when I'm like, hold on now, I think something's cooking. Someone's cooking. You guys just want to go to the next game. I'm like, okay, come on. I mean, like, let's pause for a little bit. I just figured something out.
I mean, Lil Bud, it's not just us. The chat was literally begging us to get on a different game. We were playing the last game. Like, even the chat was like, man, this is some ass. And another thing is, you can at least agree that it's objectively bad game design for a game to not have a tutorial and then not make it clear what you're supposed to do, right? Like, you can at least agree with that, right?
Yeah, of course. I think tutorials can be important in games.
I think they're extremely important, like, basically needed.
I mean, I don't think you need tutorials. I think there are other ways to go around it. Like, I always look at Hollow Knight.
Well, I mean,
Hollow Knight teaches you how to play the game without giving a straight tutorial. But you're right. Exactly. There has to be some sense of direction. There has to be some way of knowing what to do, some way of understanding.
Yeah, like, when I say tutorial, I don't necessarily mean like a dedicated level that's like, oh, here's how you do this, here's how you do this, here's how you do this. Okay, you're all good. Like, just any form of like teaching to the mechanics of the game, what exactly you're supposed to do, I'd consider that tutorial.
But how would you feel?
The last game we played did not have that at all.
What if you knew that a game was going to be amazing, that you're going to love it? When you launched it for the first time, there was no tutorial, and you were really confused at the start. Would you even give it a chance? If you knew that you were going to love it?
I feel like it's really unlikely that a game like that would exist, where it'd be a really good game and I'd really love it and doesn't even have a fucking tutorial. And that's also an unrealistic hypothetical, so I'm not going to engage with that argument.
Okay, sure. What I'm saying is, you might be confused at the start, but that doesn't mean it's immediately bad. I think you have to overcome the confusion. Like, there's a difference between being confused about something and just saying, oh, this is bad. Not even knowing what you're looking at versus knowing what you're looking at and saying, yeah, this is not very good. It's totally different.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a difference between being confused and then the game just not explaining anything. Like, the game didn't even make an effort to teach us how to play it.
Okay, yeah, I agree with that. But then once I figured out how to play it, you guys just wanted to go to the next one.
Well, yeah, because we've been playing it for like 30 minutes at that point. We still don't know exactly what to do. We're just riding around doing nothing.
But I had finally figured out what to do, and I'm like, come on, man. Like, let's at least try it now that I figured it out.
I mean,
the food smells good.
It wasn't very well made.
Sure, yeah, but
I mean,
that's the focus for these Friendslop Fridays, right? We find games that are new, probably aren't very well made, and we try them out.
Well, not exactly. Just to play any game that you consider Friendslop, and just because it has slop in the name doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be a bad game. Like, for example, Repo, like Peak, like the popular ones, they're extremely well made games, and they actually tell you what to do, and they have interactive and fun gameplay loops, which these last two we played do not. I mean, like, maybe it's fun for like a little bit at first, but then you get more and more through the game, and it doesn't expand on any of the aspects of the gameplay or anything. It's the same thing over and over, and then since it doesn't evolve, you just get bored very quick. You don't want to play it anymore.
Yeah, sure.
Like, and another way to put this in perspective is imagine if Fortnite came out, right? Massive when it came out. So imagine Fortnite came out and then they never updated it. How long do you think would have lasted?
I mean, even at the start, there was still some sort of a community.
Well, yeah, exactly. But how long do you think it would have lasted if they never updated it? The gameplay
the
never evolved at all. Exactly.
But we're playing these games before they even update, before they even,
Well, no, the point isn't that like the update. The point is that as it goes on, the game evolves, which in a single player game should already like be in the gameplay loop. Which here, there's not even a semblance of that. It's the same thing every single level. You just find new artifacts, you put them in the thing. There's some kind of geeky obstacle that's, quite frankly, not even creative. And just gotta avoid that, get the artifact, put it in the thing.
You look like an insane person.
What, I do or you do? Oh, yeah.
I just walk in and see this all over the wall, like the math equations.
Yeah, I've been doing this the whole time.
I mean,
my point isn't necessarily that like it's not a game being updated. It's that as the game goes on, the content in it evolves, the gameplay loop evolves, and for a single player game, that evolves as you get further through the game. For a multiplayer game, it evolves through different updates over the years. You see what I mean by that?
What the fuck are you guys yapping about?
Yeah, but you're saying over the years. I mean, this is day 1, hour 0.
Okay, well, no, I'm putting them into the same perspective. I'm not saying that,
Right,
like,
but
I'm not
you saying that it takes years for those
updates
to come out. You're saying that it takes time, right? Whether that is in the same play session.
I'm talking about a multiplayer game.
Okay, even multiplayer. Whether that's in the same play session or if it's over a longer period of time, over multiple play sessions. You're still saying that you have to give it time.
Yeah, you have to give the game time, and we did give the games time. We got through like at least 5 levels in this. We got through more than 5 levels, and it stayed the exact same that entire time.
Sure, I'm not disagreeing with you that this is not a very good game. What I'm saying is that we should give it some time, which we did, and that we should at least play it long enough until we feel like we've reached a wall, and that we shouldn't just be so quick to hate on these games that, just because, I don't know, just being so negative about games, it doesn't feel very fun.
Well, I'm not trying to be negative about the games, but when the game's, like this, is not very good at all, it's hard to be positive about it.
And even when it is a negative game, are you still able to enjoy it?
I mean, to a certain degree, but, eventually after being on it for so long, it's like, okay, I could be playing something else other than this. the game's clearly not getting better. We should get off of this.
Okay, yeah, I agree with that.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Goofball, you do realize you're the same guy making this whole argument, but you were playing FNAF Hunted instead of DBD for the longest time.
All right, well, that's different. I like that for the gambling.
So why didn't you like Dig Dig Die?
And also, that's a multiplayer game. The thing about a multiplayer game is that you get the new content, the new experiences through each of the different rounds that you go through, right? Like it's PvP, not necessarily PvP. Well, actually, yeah, no, you do face another person. And Dig Dig Die, that's PvE. It's the same thing every single time. Well, multiplayer games, they change and they evolve through the different people you play against, the different play styles, the different characters they use, different powers they use. It's different every single time. When it's a single player game, it's the same thing every time. And it's up to the devs to create an immersive experience that changes throughout the part of the game you're in.
Would you say that there are certain game genres that you prefer over others?
I mean, yeah, definitely. And like, I'm not the biggest horror game fan, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I dislike all horror games. Literally, like I brought up earlier, I think Five Nights at Freddy's is a great game. That's a horror game.
Yeah, of course.
You know what?
And co-op games like this, I obviously love some because like Repo, that's like one of my favorite games. Like even outside of Friendslop. Mimesis, really, bad.
Look, we all prefer different games. Can we agree that we all like different games?
Yeah.
Guess.
But I mean, I feel like I've tried to enjoy every single game that we've played on Roblox. I mean, I love it when you guys invite me to play games. I really appreciate it. So that's why I do my best to enjoy any game. Like even Party Animals earlier that I really didn't want to play it. I still try to enjoy it. I still try to play it. Like I said, I try to
I feel like you definitely don't like multiplayer games as much.
I know I do like multiplayer games. It's just party games are a little bit different for me. And I didn't understand the controls as well as other people, so I felt like I wasn't able to perform as well. But I still try to enjoy it.
Well, yeah, you're kind of contradicting your own point that you made earlier. That like, oh, even if the game isn't exactly clear what you're supposed to do, then you should still give it a chance. I could apply that to what you just said. Well, then why not try to understand the controls more?
That's exactly what I did. That's why I didn't just leave the game. That's why I was playing with you guys. That's why I continued
for like 30
playing.
Minutes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Then we hopped off. Then we got onto another game. But I would have stuck there and played with you if you would have played longer.
Yeah. Also, Party Animals actually explains its controls. It has a full-fledged tutorial. Unlike that last one we played, which just like put you in. It's like, okay, do this.
Yes, I do agree with you. But even if Party Animals didn't have a tutorial, would you still play it?
Well, now that I know the game, yeah. But the thing is that if a game is of the quality of Party Animals made by a big studio, it's gonna have a tutorial because every good game does have a tutorial to some capacity.
Not every good game has a tutorial, though.
Like what?
Chess.
Okay, well that is a completely different like medium of game we're talking. Chess has existed for thousands of years. This game is some random shit made by probably a 30-year-old man who has nothing better to do than develop games. He made this like earlier this year. We can't be comparing that to chess.
Look, not all good games have to have a tutorial though.
And obviously, chess wouldn't be fun if you didn't know what you're doing in chess. You get shit on every time, and you'd be making wrong moves. They're telling you, what are you doing? You can't do that. So it would not be fun.
Sure, of course. But if you played DBD for the first time and were like, gosh, I didn't know the enemy could do that. I'm done with this game because I didn't know that this ability was able to be used against me. Would you just give up? No, you would try to keep playing. You would try to experiment more.
But the thing where it's different in DBD is that you understand the core mechanics of the game. You understand your core objective and the core way of that you loop killers. You're gonna have to make adaptations when you're going up against a different killer that has a different ability, but you'll learn that over time. And that's not a detriment because the game didn't immediately teach you that, because that's not part of the core gameplay. Like, you understand the core gameplay, so you'll be able to adapt. But the problem with these games is that they're not even teaching you the core gameplay, so you can't adapt and you can't learn how to play it.
So
'cause you don't know
how
what you're
do you
supposed to do in
learn?
the first place.
How do you learn the core mechanics in DBD from the beginning?
It literally has an in-game tutorial. So you just go through the tutorial. It teaches you, all right, this is a generator. This is your main objective to complete 5 of them. Once all 5 generators are done, the exit gates get powered, and you can open them to escape, and then you'll live as the survivor. And you could also use these windows to vault. You could drop pallets to evade the killer. It explains that in the tutorial.
So if this game had a tutorial, then would you like it?
Well, I'm not saying that a game like just having a tutorial would make me like it. Like, I still wouldn't like the game because I think the game itself is bad. I mean, obviously, not having a tutorial adds on to that.
So what is the
But it
point
would
you're
make
trying to
it
make with
slightly
the
easier to
tutorial?
understand. My point is that if there's any game that's too lazy to even like add in a proper tutorial, tell you how to play, it's probably not a good game. Actually, scratch that. It's probably not a good game. It's not a good game.
So it's not a good game if it doesn't have a tutorial.
He's trying to say that when a game has a tutorial, they're trying to at least make more of an effort, and the game's somewhat better. At least so, in the sense they at least explain to you what you're supposed to do in the game.
Yeah,
Instead of
it's
just going
ridiculous to make
straight
a
in
game.
like fully blind and not knowing anything.
Yeah, like, it's ridiculous to make a game then just expect players to immediately know how to play it. And yeah, I'm not gonna say like it immediately means that the game is bad, but like literally 9 out of 10 times, if a game doesn't have a tutorial, it's a bad game.
What about Minecraft?
I was literally just thinking of that. That's like a kind of like a similar to chess thing, where it's a game that's existed for so long. Most people know immediately how to play the game, and
Right,
not
but-
only that, but I feel like it's a game that you could immediately pick up, and like you would learn what to do just by naturally playing. And also, I'm pretty sure the game literally does have a tutorial at this point too.
Either way, though, I mean, that's because people have given the game time. Before you even play it for the first time, I'm sure you've seen someone else play it, someone else talk about it, to give you some sort of a depiction of the game. But for these games that we play weekly, there's nothing outside of the game that we see. We just see the store page, we download the game, and that's it. There's no other information we get about it. So we have to just play the game the way that it is, and that's use the game as the only source of information. And obviously, if
Yeah,
it doesn't have
exactly.
any tutorial, it's a little bit more frustrating. But does that mean that it's a bad game or that we shouldn't give it a try?
I mean, not necessarily. And we did give the other game a try. It was completely, unclear what to do. And even when we did start finding out like what to do, we just kind of turned off the game. The old chat wanted to get off of it, So we just knew we weren't gonna have a good time, so we got off of it.
But do you guys go into these games thinking you're not going to enjoy it? It feels like before we even get into the game, you guys look at it and say, what is this? Or this is an game. And
Well, I
since you're
mean,
bringing
honestly-
up chat will always say that the game looks trash. They do that for every game. They do that for your favorite game. They do it for your least favorite game.
I'm not gonna lie. Obviously, when I see a game like this, I have a set expectation. I'm gonna be like, okay, it's probably gonna be bad. But I am more than open to being surprised. Like I'm not I'm not going into it like oh man, this game looks so bad. I'm gonna
But
have
still,
a bad
going
time.
into the game
But
with
I'm thinking-
expectations like that, it's going to taint your idea, your experience of the game as you play it. You're gonna go into it
Not
thinking the game is bad.
necessarily.
So as you play, you're thinking, okay, this is gonna suck. And then you play the game and you think, oh, it does suck. It met my expectations because they were so high. Because I knew the game was going to suck.
Well, even if I came into this game and I was thinking, oh man, Whimsical Artefacts! Oh my fucking god! This game is gonna be the best game ever! And then I started playing it, I would still be extremely disappointed. I would still come to the conclusion, wow, this game fucking sucks.
But why can't you go into a game thinking this might be the next DBD? Just in the first update. This might be the next Garden Warfare, but just in the beta. Why can't you go into a game
Because-
thinking, maybe I will enjoy this, maybe it will be a good game, maybe it may not be my favorite game, maybe it may not be DBD or Garden Warfare, but maybe I will enjoy it. Why can't you go into a new game, a new experience, giving it that sort of attention that you would give any other game like that you know that you enjoy?
Well, because obviously the way a game presents itself is going to affect how my expectations for it. Like people always say, don't judge a book by its cover, but it's not as simple as that. What they're saying is don't judge a book solely on its cover. That's really what they're saying. The point is that even if it looks bad, give it a chance. And then if you don't judge it by its cover, you go into the book, you start reading it, and it is bad, and it's like, oh, okay, this one turned out to be bad. I thought it would be bad, and it was. That'll happen sometimes, but I could have been surprised. That's my whole perspective. Like I looked at this game, I said to myself, I didn't even necessarily say to myself, I just kind of subconsciously thought, okay, this doesn't look like this is going to be a great game. And then I played it, and it wasn't. It was a pretty bad game. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe next time it'll be better. But
It just feels like going into these games that you guys. I feel like you guys aren't open about these games, and it makes me a little bit sad to think about that because I enjoy playing with you guys. But then when you guys go into these games, and I feel like I'm the only one enjoying half these games that we play. I'm not saying these games are amazing, but I do enjoy them. Even if the game is not great, I still enjoy playing them. And I feel like I'm alone in that.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying I'm not getting any enjoyment, but after a certain amount of time of playing it, it just stops being enjoyable because we got all the goofy stuff out. I've recognized that the game is bad. There's no nuance to it. Nothing new to explore, so it's like, okay, I'd rather try out a new game now or get on another game I know I like. Also, Bush joined back. I'm killing this round. Yeah, no, we're still on this Waddle PP. But I mean,
why do you go into these games though? Like, what do you hope to walk away from when we do Friendslop Friday?
Well, the point is to discover a new game and have a little bit of fun on it.
So if the point is to go into it to enjoy it, why do you go in with such negativity?
Well, no, I'm not saying I'm not going in being like, oh man, I hope this game is gonna be bad. But obviously subconsciously, if something looks bad, I'm gonna think it's probably gonna be bad. It doesn't mean that I'm gonna go into it. I'm gonna be like trying to have a bad time. I'm not gonna give it a chance. It just means subconsciously I'm thinking, okay, this probably won't be good. Which that's really something that you can't control because I mean. It's like bringing it back to what I was saying earlier. It's like the whole "don't judge a book by its cover" thing. I believe that you definitely should not judge a book by its cover, but that's not the whole point of the saying. The point is that you shouldn't judge a book solely by its cover. Like even if you look at the color, you think it's bad, you still open it, you read it a little bit, you give it a chance, and then if it is bad, oh well. And then if it's not, you're pleasantly surprised. Like, I'm glad I gave this a chance. And there have been some like that.
Has there been any game that we've played? For only Friendslop Friday that you discovered through Friendslop Friday that you've actually enjoyed?
Yes.
Which game?
Well, Berglund Gnomes, I'm not gonna lie, I saw that around a little bit. I was like, okay, this kind of just looks like really similar to Yap Yap, like with the way like you go and you destroy stuff, and like it looked like it was a little bit geeky. I didn't have super high expectations for it, but I ended up really enjoying Berglund Gnomes. That's definitely one of my favorites that we played.
I really enjoyed it too. Yeah, it was a good game. But I just, in my experience, I wish that we walked into games thinking this is going to be, not a maybe, but that it's going to be a good game. If you get disappointed and then I think that's fine. But when we go into a game with this negativity or thinking that we're just going to walk away like it's just some other sloppy game, it feels like we don't really get to enjoy it to any extent.
I mean, you can't really change your subconscious thoughts. Like, for example, if Minecraft, like they had like
if you're aware of your subconscious thought, then you can change it. You can change what you think before you go into a game. Of course you can. If you're aware of it, then you can change it.
We're having a discussion on the philosophy of games right now. Daniel_Oaf. Okay, I think the chat's getting bored of the discussion, but
I don't know. It seems like Natsukawa Kyotaro is enjoying it.
I mean, I don't see what you think is wrong with seeing a game and then subconsciously expecting it to be bad. Because obviously, if a game looks low quality, it doesn't have good reviews, I'm gonna think, okay, this is probably a bad game. But that doesn't mean that you can't give it a fair chance. This is you're not expecting it to be great.
But when you're not expecting something to be great, it can't be great.
That's not true at all. I literally just said with the Berglund Gnomes, I was not expecting that to be a great game. Honestly, I thought it would be pretty boring. Like I thought it didn't look very good from the the art on it.
Sorry, what I
Some of the
mean is
gameplay I
that
seen looked a
when
little
you
bit boring,
expect
but I
it to
really
be
enjoyed it.
bad, when you expect it to be bad, it's a lot harder for it to actually be good, for it to subdue your expectations. And when we
I
walk
mean, if
into
the game
these
didn't look
games,
bad, I wouldn't expect it to be bad. Salsa in the back. Wait, yeah, wait, Mr. Dill, are you even still here right now?
Oh yeah, Val. I'm just playing 2K.
Oh, nice, man. But I mean, yeah, I feel like there's nothing wrong with expecting a game to be bad based on what you've seen on it, and it's still very possible to have a good time on the game. Because even if I saw this game and like I said earlier, I was like, oh my god, this looks so peak. This looks like it could be so fun. I still would have been equally as disappointed. I still would have not liked the game. And honestly, I'll be quite candid with you. I thought that Dig Dig Die might be kind of fun. Like I thought that the pirate theme looks cool. I thought that maybe the burial mechanic might be kind of fun to do. And like I thought that maybe like dig down you unlock like a new area. I thought it would be something like that. And we played the game and I was very disappointed by the gameplay loop. Because everything was janky as fuck. And it was just a rough copy and paste of Repo. But I did actually think that we could have had some fun on that game. So I don't go into every single game thinking that it looks bad. But I mean, despite like what I'm thinking of when I go into a game, I feel like personally that really doesn't change my opinion on the game.
so when we walked into
Yeah,
Dig
after I
Dig
played it.
Die, what were you thinking? What were your thoughts about the game before we went into it?
I mean, I thought the game looks kind of janky, but I feel like we could have some fun on this. I feel like it might actually have some interesting game mechanics. It might bring something new to the kind of Friendslop formula. But what am I hearing in the background right now?
You hear something?
Wait, hold on. Did my stream just like unmute? Yeah, I'm hearing my own stream.
Oh, that's weird.
Oh yeah, wait, it unmuted your stream for some. All right, that was weird, but yeah, now when I went into it, I thought this might be a cool like little twist on this kind of formula for the Friendslop games, and I generally enjoy this formula with Repo and Lethal Company. So yeah, this might be fun. And then I was disappointed when you played it, and it brought nothing new to the table. It was extremely janky, and it just felt extremely uninspired, and just like they were trying to capitalize on this trend.
So
Gupo, my BGM. Well, what you mean your BGM?
So if there's a chance that walking into a game will leave you feeling disappointed, why try a new game?
Well, because you might not be disappointed. The whole point is to get a new experience.
Right, but if there's a risk
it's like gambling, you're gonna win or you're gonna lose.
It's different than gambling though, because you get to choose the outcome.
I wouldn't say that's true. I mean, I could play this game all fucking night. I could say, man, I had a blast, but that's not gonna be true. Because the game's bad and I don't like it. I could say I liked it, that doesn't make it true.
Did you enjoy Dig Dig Die?
Here's background music. No, I did not enjoy Dig Dig Die.
Did you enjoy the last game we played?
No.
And did you enjoy this game?
Hold on, put on the background music. No.
Do you enjoy?
Oh, I'm so glad I played them.
Do you enjoy Friendslop Friday?
Yes.
So do you think that we can separate the experiences we have, or sorry, do you think we can separate Dig Dig Die from Friendslop Friday?
What do you mean, like separated? You need to elaborate
Do we think we
there.
can separate the game itself and the quality of the game from the experience of Friendslop Friday?
Separate the game itself and the quality of the game? What I mean,
No,
like, what are you
separate
trying to say?
separate the game itself from the experience of Friendslop Friday. So separating the games that we play from the event that we have every week. As in, if I were to
no,
if
they're
I were
part
to
of it.
criticize one, for example, if I were to criticize a game, am I also criticizing Friendslop Friday and the experience that you had during that Friendslop Friday during that week?
I mean, I wouldn't say so. And maybe you could say that like, oh, this one was more entertaining than this one, you know. But like overall, I feel like you couldn't say like, oh yeah, Friendslop Friday is bad because they have bad games in it. But yeah, like, the whole point is that we're playing these new games, you know, just to try out something new and see if it's gonna be fun or not.
Sure, okay, I do agree with you. But when you walk away from a game, let's say we do a Friendslop Friday and back to back, the games just they suck. The stars align and we end up doing back to back dig dig die, whatever the delivery game we just played, and this game back to back, and you walk away from it. How do you feel about the Friendslop Friday then? If the only games that we ended up if only games that we play are games that you don't like, how do you walk away feeling from the Friendslop Friday?
I mean, I'd be a little bit disappointed, but I wouldn't, you know, be like, oh man, you know, I don't really want to do Friendslop Friday anymore because this one was bad. But yeah, I would be a little bit disappointed if there wasn't any games that I like. But you know, that's what happens whenever you try something new. You know, you like it or you don't.
So do you
I feel
think
like it's kind of? Or did you want to go ahead, or you want me to finish my little thought right there?
you can finish?
I mean, what I was gonna say is that I feel like it's a little bit silly to just be like, oh yeah, you know, you shouldn't try new things because they might be bad, or to say, oh, just because you think something is bad, you shouldn't try it.
And I do
Because
agree
like
with
I
you
said,
there, yeah.
I've had both. Yeah, I've had both ends of the spectrum. Where like with Burglar Gnomes, I wasn't expecting it to be all that, and it was all that. It was very fun. And then you know this game, where I looked at it and I said, okay, this probably isn't gonna be very good, and it was not very good.
Okay, yeah. I think that's okay to think. So if you walk away from a Friendslop Friday, did you not enjoy? Was it the games you didn't enjoy, or was it the Friendslop Friday that you didn't enjoy?
It was the games. Because like overall, at the end of the day, I'm not upset that I played those games if they ended up being bad. I'm still glad that I tried them. Like I'm glad I tried this game, and I'm glad I tried the last, even though I didn't like them, because they could have been good.
So why are you glad that you experienced the game that you didn't like?
Well, because like I said, they could have been good. Now, you never know until you try it.
So when you walk away from a Friendslop Friday, having only played games you don't like, how do you feel?
I mean, I'm like a little bit disappointed, but I'm still glad I did it.
And you're glad that you did them because you tried something new.
Yeah, and they could have been good, and that just means that the next one, you know, will be all that much better.
So I think this is where we differ. I walk into Friendslop Friday thinking that this is not just the games that we play, but the whole experience. Who we play them with. It's with chat. It's the jokes that we make in between. It's the shenanigans. So when I play a game for Friendslop Friday, the game could be bad. I could not enjoy the game. However, I still enjoy it because to me, Friendslop Friday is not defined by the games that we play during Friendslop Friday. That's my thoughts on it. My thought is that we can play a game that is terrible, but still enjoy it because we're playing it with each other, because chat isn't, you know, there with us, because we're getting, like as you said, getting to try something new. And so when we walk away from a bad game, I still feel happy. I can feel even better than I did before because we all got to play something together, and perhaps we've all even agree on thoughts of the game.
Okay, well wait, I can actually agree with you on that, but I thought I was looking at it from like purely a game's perspective. I thought that's what we were talking about. But I mean, if we're talking about the experience as a whole, like yeah, I'm still happy that we did it, even though the games are ass, or they, you know, might have been ass depending on, you know, what we played that time. I'm still glad we did it because of the reasons you just listed. I agree with that. But I was looking at it purely through the game's perspective.
Right.
Like, of course, I'm a little bit disappointed by the games. I'm still happy with the experience.
Okay, yeah, I'm glad that we can agree on that because I think that when we walk into a game thinking it's going to be bad and you walk away feeling bad, we shouldn't forget how we feel during the game. Even if the quality of the game itself is bad, we should separate the game from our experience. I mean, going back to the restaurant analogy, it might be a bad restaurant, but if you walk in there with your friends, you make jokes and you walk out, the restaurant might suck, but the experience might have been good.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're saying. And like, yeah, I would still say that like with Dig Dig Die, even though the game was shit, and I recognize that, I still overall I had a pretty good time because I was playing with you guys. If I was playing with some random people, I probably would have had a terrible time because the game is terrible. But since I was playing with you guys, that's what made it good, even though the game was bad. So I have this perspective, like, where I try to, like, still be like, okay, you know, I recognize this game is bad, but that doesn't mean, like, you know, I'm you know, super upset about it that I played it and it was bad. Because, like I said, I played with you guys.
So I'm glad that we can come to that agreement there, because when we walk into these games or when we walk out of them complaining about it, it sometimes feels like you guys are only talking about the game rather than the experience. I mean, even though it's a bad game when you walk away, it feels as if you guys are sort of not drawing a distance between the game itself and the experience we have with the game. And so when I hear you guys criticizing it, it feels like, well, why are we here then? What's the point of playing it? If everything that we're doing is just bad and we're not enjoying it, the game is ass, then why are we here? What's the point of playing these games in the first place?
Well, the point is to try something new with each other and, you know, have some fun moments while we're doing it and then see what we think at the end. And I feel like, you know, it doesn't, we definitely don't have to play a game and then be like, oh yeah, you know, even if it wasn't the best, you know, it was still a good game. I feel like it's definitely valid to think that, you know, the games that we play are bad, but that doesn't mean that the experience is bad.
I'm glad that we can separate the difference between the games that we play and the experiences, because I do agree some of these games are not very good. And even though I've been trying to make these points about looking at a game as being separate, that's because I'm trying to separate it from the experience I have with the game. You know, it's like walking away from a movie and thinking, I personally did not enjoy that movie. I thought it was really bad. But I look at it, I think that's still a good movie. I just didn't enjoy it. I mean, there's plenty of games out there in particular that I know are like very well fleshed out games that I hear from other people are good, but I do not enjoy it. So I try to separate my experience with the game from the game itself. And when it comes to Friendslop Friday, I've always enjoyed every game that we played because we play it together. In fact, there's been times where I enjoy the game more than I do the experience because, I don't know, maybe I'm just having a bad day and I'm thinking about things a little bit differently. But I think it's really important for us to separate the games that we play for Friendslop Friday from the experience. To be able to walk away from it thinking, man, that game sucked, but that was a really fun Friendslop Friday.
Wait, hold on. Waddle's calling me, bud. I'll get to my next point in a second. I'm gonna see what Waddle has to say. Yo,
Okay.
Waddle, what's up?
Yo, can you, like, read your chat?
Well, I mean, man, I'm trying to have, like, a conversation here. I can't exactly just pause it to read the chat.
Yo, tell Waddle to watch
I
my
know
stream.
that, but, like...
Well, could you, like,
you know,
summarize the chat for me?
You can put a pin in it, and then you can continue it later. Because you've been on this for 45 minutes.
Clearly, Waddle
Okay,
has
I'll
never
read
had
it
a thoughtful
RQ, bro.
discussion.
It's a valid conversation, yes, and I like the intellectual speak that you keep going in circles about and won't decide to, you know, find a common ground.
Oh, you should join up then, Waddle Penis.
Very true, yeah.
Absolutely not.
Okay, Waddle.
I mean, both of your sides.
I
make
want to
sense,
bring up
and
what
it would
Waddle
just
said in
belong
chat. I
there.
did see what he said.
Oh wait, what did you say in chat? Big Eamon said that he
So-
wants to bring up what you said. Well, wait, you mean when he said
Go on.
mine,
Yeah, I mean, I forgot the lyrics to that. I meant my, like, last mentions, because I also enjoy the games we do. But, I mean, some of them suck, but I still enjoy them.
Wayne realized that Friendslop Friday is not the destination, rather the journey. And I agree with that, and that's why I enjoy Friendslop Friday as a whole, but I don't feel like it's necessarily
Yo,
correct
Chad,
to say...
It's over, Chad. Have fun.
Okay, well, I don't feel like it's necessarily correct to say, you know, oh, since I had a good experience as a whole, this means the game is good. Because I tend to look at, and like you said, like, oh, okay, just because I didn't enjoy, or just because you didn't enjoy a game, that necessarily means it's bad. But I look at things from a much more personal perspective. I feel like if I played something and I didn't like it, that's usually because it's bad. But that's not necessarily all the case. Sometimes I do play a game, and I can recognize, like, okay, this is just not my kind of game, but it's a good game still. And like the games that we play here, this is not an example of that. These are games that like I play and they're bad, and I think that I didn't enjoy them because they're bad.
I do agree with you that we can say that a game that we do not enjoy a game, but I still don't think it's fair to say that a game is bad simply because we don't enjoy it. Or like you had just said, how you kind of judge the game itself by your experience with the game. if we go into it with that perspective, we're not able to see the game for what it's worth, or be able to, like I said, separate our experience from the game.
But isn't that how you kind of judge everything, though, based on your experiences with it? Like, if you've known a guy, let's say there's a guy named Henry, and literally the only thing you remember from this guy is him insulting you. Maybe he beat you up one time, you know, and he stole your lunch money, whatever. He's a bad guy. You've had only bad experiences with him. You're obviously going to think that he's a bad person, right?
From my perspective, sure, that's what I would think.
Well, yeah, and then your perspective is your reality. So you're going to think, okay, he's a bad guy. Like, you know, like you don't have somebody like Henry and you think about them and then be like, oh, okay, well, he's only bad from my perspective, you know? Maybe he's a good guy outside his interactions, but you don't think that. You just think based on your interactions that you had with him, okay, he's a bad guy.
Right, but like you had just said, your perspective is your reality. So that is only for yourself, though. But there's also a separate reality that we have, the one that we have with other people. If my perspective with this guy, what was his name again? Henry?
Henry. Yeah, Henry.
If my perspective
Henry.
with Henry, if my perspective with him is that he's a bad person, then I might think that. But what if I hear from someone else that they say he's a really good person?
Well, I would say they're not. Yeah, they're always a dickhead to me and they're always acting like a prick. This is not a good guy.
So how does it change things if this other person says that Henry's a good person? Because from their perspective, from their reality, Henry's a good person, but I think he's a bad person. How does that change my relationship with the other person, this mutual person who also knows Henry?
Well, you're probably going to think less of them because they like Henry, because obviously you know that Henry's a bad guy.
So when you guys say that these games are bad, but I'm the mutual friend who thinks maybe the game is not so bad, how am I supposed to think?
Reiterate your point there, like, yeah, it's much different when it's a person, because, like, obviously, like, you know, the way Henry's acting is actively affecting me, you know, he's a bad guy, you know, he's negatively impacting me, but these games, these are much less important than, you know, the way someone's acting, like Henry.
Okay, but
you know, like, I don't give a shit if you think that this game is fun, you had, like, a really good time in this game, you think it's a really good game, because that doesn't affect me, so, you know, I can sit here and I could say, all right, I'm glad that you were able to have fun on it when I didn't. But, you know, when it's a person like Henry, it's obviously going to affect, you know, how I see you. If, you know, you're saying, you know, oh, he's such a good guy when he's done all this bad stuff to me.
Okay,
Also,
I see what you're saying.
Before you hit me with your response, Waddle's calling back.
I just gotta tell you, read the chat.
What's up, Waddle? What's up? Oh, what do you want to show me, man? Oh, wait, look at this. Yeah, look at this. Yeah, look at that. Dude, that's an awesome plush. I love that. Dude, thank you, Waddle Penis. Awesome, man. Well, that's what Waddle wanted to show me. So, yeah, go ahead, Biggie Mints.
Okay, so, personally, I feel like our experience with Friendslop Friday sometimes changes with the way that we describe these games and the way that we talk about these games. I feel because just like you said, our perspective is our reality. And so if you walk away from the game thinking the game is trash, that affects your reality with the game. That affects the reality of the way that you experience games. If your perspective is that the game is and you keep telling yourself the game is then your reality is going to be that everything is or maybe not everything, but the reality will be that your experience with the game was you might not be thinking about how your experience with the game was actually good, that you might have enjoyed it, that you might have had a good time with your friends if you're just thinking that the game was
Well, no, I can have a good experience with the game and then still think that it's Like, it's kind of like, you know, how lots of people have, like, bad movies that they watch and they know it's bad, but they still have a fun time with it. Like, you know, The Room. It's a famous example. Or, like, the most recent one for me would probably be Five Nights at Freddy's 2. It was extremely fun to watch, but I know that the script was, like, a complete fucking mess. It was very badly written, but I still think it was a very fun watch, though.
So why can't we experience these games as if it's The Room? Like, this is charmingly bad. Or like it's Five Nights at Freddy's, where maybe it is kind of bad, but we try to find things that we enjoy about it. We enjoy the random cameo. We enjoy the random joke.
Well, yeah, because there's a difference between bad, bad, and good, bad. There's like, you know, just because a game is bad doesn't mean it's always going to be a good, bad. Like, you know, I feel like this game, it's definitely bad. I feel like it leans toward good, bad a little bit, but not enough for me to want to like actively stay on it. Like, it does have some very fun things, like, you know, the poo-poo head drawings I'm putting everywhere. But the game itself is not well made, though, and it has a boring gameplay loop that gets stale quickly. So it's not a good game. But I can still have some fun on it.
Okay, I agree with you, and I'm glad that we can still enjoy games even though you might think that they are bad. But when I only hear from you is that you're saying the game is bad, to me it sounds like your experience was also bad. And as someone who's playing with you, I feel like my presence here is not of value because your experience with the game was bad.
Well, we just have two completely different perspectives there then, because I like separate the overall experience from the experience of the game. Like the game itself might have been bad. Actually, then again, it's not necessarily a great way to put it. Let me think of like a better way to put this. It's like I might have a good experience on a game because I'm playing with you guys, but I can still recognize that it's a bad game, and I could, you know, I could make fun of it for that. I could, you know, voice those thoughts. But just because like I'd say that a game we play is bad,
too.
really? Okay,
You got
no,
fun on
all
it, but Modern Warfare 2 is just shit.
right, well, that's a completely
Okay.
silly example. Garden Warfare 2 is actually a very well-made game. It's a very fun game.
Oh. Nah, I'll just fucking with you. My bad.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, it's got.
But yeah, also, hold on, Waddle's calling me back again. But like, yeah, do you see what I'm saying there, though?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I get your point.
Yeah, Waddle's back on the phone, so before you respond.
I got something to show you.
All right, what else you got?
Excited? It's pretty crazy, all right? It's pretty
Oh,
crazy.
oh yeah, I'm excited.
Ain't that crazy?
Oh, he just threw the plush at some white shoes.
Sorry, I need to go take this call. My girlfriend's calling me.
Oh yeah, go ahead, bro, go ahead.
If we stop this conversation, I want to say that I'm really glad we had it.
Yeah.
All right, I'll be right back.
All right, bro.
W1 hour convo, now 1 p.
Bro. Well, when Dan gets... Oh, actually, Dan is here. Dan, you want to play Pete?
Bell thinks Dan's still here.
I mean, bro, you did chat, like, literally 3 minutes ago. Also, what y'all's takes on this chat? Because I feel like...
With this.
Like Biggie's coming from, like, you know, a well-intentioned perspective, but I feel like he's kind of, like, like, maybe not misunderstanding what I'm saying, but, like, misunderstanding, you know, like, why I speak this way. You know? Because obviously, if I play a game that's bad, I want to voice that it's bad. That doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, I had a bad time on it. Bro, stop yapping. That's it. That's my perspective. Alright, bro.
Honestly, tired, bro. Whoever said that, sorry, bro.
Y'all are just so brain rotting. Like, come on, man. You can't just sit down here and have a conversation.
Yo, I got something to show you, dog. I got something to show you. Are you ready?
I'm ready, mate.
Yeah. Show the stream too.
Alright, bro. Hold on. Alright, the stream is ready, little bud. Whoa. Alright, bro, that was pretty crazy. Gang, 1 hour, by the way. Well, yeah, because I'm not gonna lie, this conversation has been way more entertaining than this fucking game. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, that's true.
At least to me.
Wow, pass the fucking ball to me. Oh my god.
But yeah, to add on, like to what I was saying before, your experience is your reality. So, like, even if, like, I said, oh, you know, I thought the game was good. I tried to have this, you know, completely positive, you know, outlook on it. I would still, you know, subconsciously know that it's not a good game. Like, I would still know that no matter how positively I'm talking about it.
I get your point, bro. Like, for me, when I play a game, it's about who I'm playing with more than the actual game itself. But that's just me.
Oh,
like,
yeah, definitely.
Like, if I
Well, no,
hate
I'm the same way.
die, bro, like, that shit, like, it fucking destroyed me mentally because it was so shit. But I still stayed on it because y'all are on it. And I was like, Like I could play like
Yeah,
any
exactly.
game, and if I'm playing with friends, I'll still have like a decent time, but I'll still be miserable playing the fucking game.
Yeah, but I feel like it's kind of like silly to be like, because you're saying a game is bad, that means that your time on it was bad, your experience on the game was
Yeah,
bad.
like for example, like if for whatever reason I played Siege, but I was playing with like say you and Dan, I would have a good time on it, but I'd be fucking miserable playing it.
What now, bro? What now?
Oh, pass the fucking this guy. Oh my god.
All right, I'm ready. Oh yeah, get ready to clip this, man.
Let's say we're getting ready to clip this past. Oh, we passed that. Oh.
Okay, but we didn't even fucking do anything that time. He just flipped his camera and then showed like his full floor.
That's aura.
Oh yeah, so much aura. When peak? Wait, they've been talking for an hour. What the hell? WW Mr. Dead. Is your wallpaper Mark Gase and Invincible? Yeah, it is, Bram. I'll actually show y'all. Pretty cool, Bram. Look, it's like my wallpaper in the home screen. I got like Mark waving, right? Then when I log in, it's like him with the red background, ready to fight and shit. Pretty cool, right? Wow, Waddle Penis is FaceTiming me again. What's up, man? Bro, he's not arcade. He just fucking hung up this time. Are we dead asshole? Alright, little bud. Let's JSA. I'm not picking up next time. Yeah, chat. Let's see if I could have this entire room covered by the time we're done with this conversation. It should be that moment at the end of episode 5 where Mark and Conquest share a tender moment. Oh, I'm not sure if I'd want that as my home screen, bro.
Oh my god, I'm so glad I decided not to order food for that episode.
Oh yeah, no, that would not have been good.
The last 15, oh god.
Waddle, can you tell him to friend me on Steam? I'll friend you on Steam as well, bro. You're literally in my chat. Oh, did you send me a friend request? Did he drop your Steam friend code, your username, and I'll add you, little bud. Yeah, because I have no pending invites right now. So you have not sent me a friend request, but yeah, drop it in, I'll add you, man. Also, oh, yo, what's up, Gooner? Bruh, Invincible's the world's first hero. I'm watching the new stuff. He literally wins no fights. Also, when does Eve get slim thick? I just want to see that already. I think it'll happen like later in the season. It's like later this season or early next season.
Bro, her character is so fucking boring this season.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I have not really.
She's literally just a fucking sex doll. Like.
Yeah, and then they have like a conversation on the roof, like, "Oh man, I'm so depressed. All this bad stuff's happened to me." And no, I know.
I mean, at least like season 5 and like from then on, she'll be like actually a decent character.
Not gonna lie, I think Eve is boring always. Her and Mark do not go together. I mean, to be honest, I didn't like much of the romance stuff TBH. Like, I didn't like Amber that much either. I mean, Amber was better, I'll say, to a certain extent, but like, I just didn't fuck with neither too much. Nine Ropes, Polarized Light, Ro and Declar. What the hell is this dude talking about? First time chat, BT does. What's going on, man? My code. All right, bro. I'll add you, little bud. I think I said the right thing that time. Okay. Waddle Penis is calling me again. Let's see what he'll do this time. Yeah, I added you. Duplicate, on the other hand. All right, beat that ass, Gooner. What's up, man? What's up, bro? What is it this time?
You like my picture?
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, it is. I took this from the Discord when I first got your number. Yeah. What?
Oh, you haven't sent me it yet.
Oh yeah. Well, I usually just get like the Discord PFPs from like the PFP Grabber website. You know.
Yeah, but it could just be a G.
What is like a letter G? Like not even like the mascot G?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I guess you could do that. But if you just set my contact as Goofball, wouldn't it be that anyway?
Yeah.
So yeah, well, so why you just do that?
Because I already did. I need something better.
Oh, well then why you just use the mascot G then?
But I need something created by you.
What, you want me to like draw one for you?
Maybe.
I mean, I could do that.
Can you do it on stream?
Yeah, sure. All right, yeah, I'll do that.
Alright, good. Good talk.
All right, great. Yeah, I'll do it right now.
Sweet.
When peak, after Biggie Mints is, signed off. Well, I want to wrap up this conversation, bro. Did you end your convo? Nah, is this temporarily put on hold? Yeah. Because Biggie Mints is on the phone with his GF, so we're waiting for that. Yeah. Okay. New. Can I not? Wait, how do you change the dimensions? Image properties. Yeah, here we go. Should I make it? Do you think I should make it like 800 by 800 or 400 by 400? I feel like 400 by 400 would be better. It does not need to be 800 by 800. What were you saying, bro? Ask Waddle whose favorite has-been hotel character is. Oh my god. From JJK. When does that show get good? I tried watching it. It's just boring. I'm not gonna lie, JJK does seem kind of like a shitter ass show. Keep it a beam. Let me draw a little something for Waddle PP. This Rage Babe. What do you think, bro? Okay, it's a little bit too thick at the bottom there. I definitely got to move like the eyes up. Hold up. Cause I need room for the mouth too. Like the mouth should probably be like realistically, just put it like right here.
What you drawing there?
Drawing a goofball profile picture for Waddle PP for the phone contact.
Phone contact. I like it.
Yeah, little bud. But I'm ready to continue the conversation whenever.
Oh, you want to continue it?
I mean, yeah, I wanted to reach a natural conclusion instead of just abruptly cutting it off, you know?
Sure, yeah. All right, let's try to work towards a conclusion then. I think we got pretty close, in my opinion.
Yeah, I feel like we were getting there, little bud. The cat said no, don't continue.
I don't think anybody wants you to continue, bro.
I think Waddle might want us to continue.
Oh yeah, Waddle definitely wants us to continue.
My one
sure.
viewer might want us to. Forgot his name. Natsukawa Kyotaro. I think he was listening closely.
Yeah, I bet he was.
What our program is that? Is that just like Windows Paint?
Yeah, just paint.
Model City wants you to just have the convo in DM so you can read it.
In DMs.
Yeah, like,
No, he can
like-
watch the VOD. He can watch the VOD like everyone
That's
else.
it.
Hey, come on, little bud. Okay, well, I mean, you can continue, Biggie, from
Okay, sure.
your next point.
Let's see, where were we?
Because I'm kind of working on this anyway, so.
So I think that we have to separate our experiences from the things that we
Wait, that was tough.
Separate our experiences from the things we experience?
Yeah, so
elaborate.
A movie, a game, that is a thing that we experience. You know, socially, we say that we experience a movie, we watch the movie. You experienced a trip to Italy, you experienced a migraine. But that thing that you experience is different from how you experience it. There's this idea in Stoicism about controlling the things that you can control and not worrying about the things you can't control. For example, if someone yells at you at work, maybe you mess up, and someone gets in your face and really screams at you. Being able to control how you feel after it is really powerful because you cannot control what they do to you, but you can control how you feel about it. And the person screaming at you is outside your control, just like the games that we play and the movies we watch are outside of our control. But the way that we experience these things, the way that we feel about it, we can control. And so being able to separate what you are experiencing from how you experience and what you take away from it, I think is really important to be able to separate the two, to look at the game as different from your experience and to look at your experience being different from the game.
I mean, I do kind of see what you're saying, but I don't really think there's anything necessarily wrong with playing a game and then being like, okay, this is a bad game. Because, you know, I mean, like I said earlier, your experience is your reality. So if you have a bad time on a game, like to you, that's, you know, going to be a bad game, you know? And there's no reason to, you know, not talk about how you thought it was a bad game just because, like, it's negative. I feel like it's very important to, you know, talk about why you don't like things and if you don't like something.
Yeah, that's very valid. I noticed that you and Salsa very much like to express your opinions after we play a game or sometimes even during it. And I think that is valid. But I also think it is important for us to think about what we do enjoy about the game, or more so about our experience from playing it. Like I brought up before, being able to walk away from a Friendslop Friday after playing back-to-back games you didn't like. Being able to walk away and say, hey, I still enjoyed it. I think that that's really important to be able to do.
Well, yeah, and I do subconsciously think that, but it's not really because of the game. So I'm not gonna give praise to the game because I had a good time. You know, like the only reason I had a good time was because the people I played with. So, you know, I would have had a good time either way. So I prefer to criticize the game on, you know, what the game did do wrong.
Yeah, I mean, that's okay, I think. But I think it's still important for you to acknowledge the experience being different from the game rather than saying just that the game is bad. Say that the game is bad, but the vibes were rolling. The good vibes were rolling.
Well, I mean, yeah, I agree with that. But like, I still want to, you know, talk about like how a game was bad if it was.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I think that you're definitely valid to talking about why a game is bad. But just like you had said before, that your experience or your perspective is your reality, how does your perspective on the game shape your reality if you think that the game is bad and you think that you had a bad experience with the game?
Well, I mean, I just think it's a bad game. It becomes my opinion on the game. Man, shut up! This is not Friendslop. Why are you doing this? Evo Shidnor. We've just been having this conversation because we were playing this Friendslop game, and I was like, "Oh yeah, this game is ass." And Biggie started talking about like, "Oh well, I mean, you have to consider that you know the developer put a lot of time into this game, so you can't really say it's objectively ass." But I mean, yeah, I mean to me the game is objectively ass. You might say, "Oh well, then that's subjective," but there is no true objectivity or like you can't say it's something that is is objectively bad, like just period. Is obviously for yourself, it's objective. Like, in fact, there's a difference to something being objective and subjective to yourself. Because I feel like something subjective to yourself, like you recognize that it's your own opinion that's a bad game, but then you think if something is objective to yourself, you'd think, okay, this is bad, and most people should think this is bad. But like there is no true objectivity when it comes to something like this, where everyone's gonna have a different opinion, and there's like no way to measure whether something's true.
So then how do you know that anything is true? Is anything objective if everything that we say is only based on our perspective from how we interpret it, from how we experienced it? Is anything we say of value to how something is objective?
Well, I mean, not everything. Like, for example, games, that's where like this logic that I just brought up would apply, you know. But for example, like when we're doing math, that's always objective. 2 plus 2 is always 4. 3 plus 3 is always 6. 2 times
Actually,
3 is
Diddy
always 6.
Mud, if you take 2
What?
plus 2, you would actually get 22.
Well, no, that's not real addition. That would be if you just took the two numbers and you crammed them next to each other. It would technically be 22.
So let me
That's
see
not
this.
actual addition.
Yeah, let me see this. If you have a 2, and then you put another 2 with it, what do you have?
Okay, well, you have 22, but that's not
Exactly.
adding it. You're putting it with it.
Exactly. Thank you. You're adding the 2 alongside the other 2. So thank you. Thank you for putting my point. You can continue conversation.
Okay.
I think that you bring up a good point about math, though. I think that you bring up a good point that, in a lot of ways, math is objective, right? Like you had said, that doesn't matter.
Ways. I would just say that it is.
Okay. The reason I was saying otherwise is because of the way that different people interpret the numbers. To someone who does not know what 2 represents, they cannot say that 2 plus 2. I mean, if I tell you that ni plus ni is, I don't know, 4 in Japanese, I mean, you don't know what that means. So how can you say that it is for sure 4? Do you think that math is separate from the way that we interpret it? That's separate from our mind, that math is existent in itself?
Oh, repeat that one more time. I was sending a picture to Waddle, the one I just drew.
So bring it back.
OMG, Taki is awesome. Oh my god. Yeah, go ahead.
So do you think that math exists separately from the way that we interpret math? Like you had said before, 2 plus 2 is always 4. But if I were to say 1 plus 1 plus 2 equals 4, is that also true?
Well, yeah. I mean, there's one objective way to interpret math. You could interpret it wrong, but there's one objective way to interpret it. Like, that's like an absolute fact. Do not refute that. So, wait, is this one transparent since it's PNG? No. How do you make things transparent in this? But, I mean, yeah, there's always one objective way to do that or to interpret it. What does this do? Oh, it just cuts it out.
So what can you bring up an example, more of a personal example of something that is more objective in the way that you're saying that math is objective?
What do you mean, like a personal example?
Something outside of the world of math that you can still say is objectively, or it's something outside the world of math that you can still say is objective.
Okay. I think a good example here. Elements.
Okay.
Yeah, like H2O. Like you could say that, water is objectively made up of, hydrogen and oxygen. That's objectively true, scientifically.
So if I denied that, what would that mean?
Well, it would just mean that you're wrong.
But when I drink this water, I don't see any H2O in the glass.
Well,
I just see water.
Isn't always true. Well, I mean, yeah, and it's made up of that. It's because it's on, the molecular level. You can't see that. Like, for example, you can't see that, a cake was made with sugar in it, but it was made with sugar in it because it's a cake.
But if
it's a sugar-free cake?
Sure, yeah. What if it's a sugar-free cake? How do I know that?
Sugar-free cake.
But actually,
well, yeah, I'm talking about a regular cake. So wait, what did you say, Mr. Dean?
Well, I mean, like, assuming you're buying a cake, they have to label it because that's a law in the Constitution or some shit.
Oh yeah, they do gotta label it. Made with or without sugar.
As the founding fathers said, Thou must label thy food with thy ingredients within the
Yeah,
containments of the
exactly.
food. The
And like,
FDA,
if you eat a
established by
cake and you
George
don't know,
Washington. Right.
yeah, well, what I was saying, like, if you eat a cake and you don't know whether it's made with sugar or not, it's like, it was still objectively either made with sugar or not. Like, yo, W Seth for the sub, bro. Thank you, man. Oh, what, you just gifted this? Oh, are you doing the 2 subs, little bud?
Nah, I mean, not right now. I just had to get set this up.
Oh, nice. Well, W Mr. Dill, bro. Thank you for that,
If
man.
I get one more, then like.
Yeah, thank you, bro. I appreciate that, Mr. Dill. But yeah, do you have anything you want to say about that, Biggie? So how do you make this transparent? Supposed to be transparent.
So how is our experiences objective? Are there any experiences that you can say are objective?
Well, like objectively what?
So let's say something that many people would say is objective. Getting shot in the foot. Is this an objectively bad experience?
I would say so, yeah.
I mean, it's better than being sick.
So if let's say there's an individual with shot in his foot, it's rushed to the ER, excruciating pain. But when he gets there, he needs to get his foot amputated. All right, it's discarded. There's too much to it can't be kept. However, they also find that there's a deadly virus also in his foot. So that when they cut off his foot, it appears, oh, it looks like we've also got rid of the virus, thus actually saving his life. Does this change the objectivity of the experience?
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess it would because he got lucky. But generally, like, that's a bad thing. But I guess, objectivity does change depending on circumstances. Something like that you can't really label as objectively true or objectively bad. The only things that you can are things that are, never change. They're always one way. Like for like the 2 examples I brought up, math and science. Water is always going to be made up of hydrogen and oxygen, and 2 plus 2 is always going to be 4. There's no circumstance that can change that. Or, you could also bring up to your point, you get shot in the foot, but maybe, the person who did is like a psychopathic masochist, and they like feeling the pain. So they're like, "Oh, I'm so glad I got shot." If they wanted to get shot for whatever reason, I don't know. To them, like that would be a good thing, but it's generally a bad thing. But you can't really say it's quote unquote objectively bad. But I mean, you could generalize it though and say, 99.9999% of the time, it's a bad thing. So I mean, it's basically objectively bad.
But if something is 99%, then is it objective?
It's not. Well, no, by the technicality of the term objective, it's not, but it pretty much is. Yo, check Instagram Reels.
I said Instagram, bro.
Dude, check
really, bro.
Check the chat, check the DM, check my phone call, and check Instagram Reels. This guy wants you everywhere.
Yeah, well, I mean that's what all my chatters do, bro. So it's not really anything new. Yeah, I hope that you like the drawing I made for you, though, Waddle Penis.
Man, handcrafted original.
Mm-hmm.
Put a signature on that.
But yeah, what's your response to my last point?
So I think that I'm trying to think here. It's interesting though because the way you look at something after the fact, like the experience of getting shot in the foot is different than say 10 years in the future when you think, oh boy, I'm glad I got my foot removed so I don't have to die from this virus that was in my foot.
Yeah. And even though that's like probably medically impossible, like
right.
I get what you're saying with the hypothetical.
Well, I mean, there's always sort of underlying conditions that are realized in the hospital. I mean, you might go in for just a cough or just a mild headache and find out you have brain cancer, like finding out things like that
exactly.
might mean that initial sickness you had or that initial experience was actually worth it in the long run. And that might change your perspective on it. I mean,
like an experience like that can't be objective. Like it could be, basically objective. It could be almost objective. It could be generally, bad. But just because the nature of the situation where it's always different between each person, it cannot be objective. Just like, whether a movie is good or bad. But I mean, it could be generally bad. Like most people could generally agree that's bad. But something like that, where everybody's experience with it is different and changing, you can't just say that it's completely one way and that every other take on it is wrong.
So do you think that the way we think about something, like you had said before, that pers- that our reality is shaped by our perspective, do you think that our perspectives also shaped by our reality?
Well, yeah, I guess so. They shape each other in different ways.
So when we play a game and you guys say you don't enjoy it, but I say that I did enjoy it because I separated the game from the experience, how do our experiences differ?
Well, they differ in that you're looking at it just from a different perspective. Like we're looking at it from a purely gameplay perspective. Like what does this game offer to me as a player? And you're looking at it from how was my experience playing the game? Because I also have good experiences playing these games because like I said before, I'm playing with you guys. So I still have fun at the end of the day, but at the same time, I recognize that it's a bad game and I want to talk about that.
And I think that it is okay to talk about that, to talk about the game on its own. But how does it change my reality if I experience it and I say that I actually enjoyed it? Does that mean that my reality is different than your reality?
Well, your perspective is different than mine, but I mean, your reality isn't necessarily different than mine. But I mean, what you say about it doesn't really change anything. Like, I could have played this game. I could have said that it was amazing, but it still wouldn't change the way I think about it. Like, I would still think it's bad, no matter what I said. I'm just choosing to vocalize that opinion that the game was bad.
So would you say that, restating what you said, that our perspectives shape our reality? And after going after what you just said, that even though we have different perspectives, we don't have different realities, this would imply that the opposite is not true, that our realities are not, or that our perspectives are not shaped by reality. Because we have the same reality, but we have different perspectives.
Well, actually, then again, when you put it that way, it's not exactly the same. Like, we don't have the exact same reality. We are both different things happen to us in the game, even though we roughly do the same exact things. There are slight differences. So, I guess, no, you can say that your perspective is shaped by your reality and, vice versa. But I guess what really, differentiates the end product is it all comes down to perspective.
I do think
Like
that perspective is really important. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, because we always look at it from the perspective of a game. Like, I don't say a game is good based on whether if I had a good time on the game. Because I mean, like I said, I could play any game with you guys, and I could have a good time to a certain degree.
Against Siege.
Yeah, no, if I play Siege with you guys, I'm sure I'd have a good time. I would still think that the game is ass, but I could still have a good time playing with you guys. That's what I'm playing with you guys. But I feel like for a game to really be good, you also need to be able to have fun playing it by yourself. I know that you might be saying, "Oh, well, like Friendslop, that's only fun with friends." But I feel like you could definitely have fun with games like Repo and Peak by yourself to a certain extent. And this doesn't go for like every single game. Like stuff that it literally completely depends on having other people, like Jackbox and Garlic Phone. Now, obviously, those that's a different conversation because they're completely dependent on that. But you can't really say like a game is good just because you had fun on it when there's an external factor that would have made you had fun on any game you played.
I like that you bring up though that there is an external factor outside of the game that does allow you to enjoy it. So can we agree that the
exactly.
games we play and the experiences we have with the game are different?
No, yeah, absolutely.
So would you say that even though a game might be bad, you can still enjoy the experience of the game, even though the game itself might be bad?
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. It's because of these external factors that I do. And the differentiator is if I change these external factors, or in some cases even took them away, would I still have a good time? And on these games that I call bad, the answer would be no, I would not still have a good time.
So like you
That's
just
why
said,
my
there's
perspective on the games, I try to separate that external factor.
so there is an external factor outside of the game, correct?
Yeah.
Is this external factor part of the experience, or is it something else?
No, it's part of the experience.
So would you say that your ability to enjoy a game is shaped by the experience rather than the game?
Oh yeah, absolutely. But the thing is that both are part of the experience, the game itself, and then also the external factors that you bring in.
So the game itself and the external factors shapes your experience?
Yeah.
So you think that it is important for the game to shape your experience, but I thought we had separated the game from the experience. That they were two different things that were not related. That you can have a
Well, no, I'm
very
not saying.
good game with a bad experience, but also a very bad game with a good experience. All right.
Well, yeah, you absolutely can. Like I could play a very good game, but there could also be external factors that have the same effect. You know, like if I'm playing, maybe some DBD, a game that I enjoy a lot, and I have some dude yapping in my ear the entire time, like calling me like a fucking yeah, like calling me like a fucking idiot and stuff, or just like being rude, or just like being annoying, I'm obviously gonna have a bad time because I have this guy yapping in my ear. But then you take it vice versa, other way around, and I'm playing a bad game like this I would never play on my own, that it gets very boring and very stale very quickly, and just overall not designed very well. But I play with you guys, so then I do have fun.
Like a good way to put it is like saying you go on vacation with your friends like 2 different times. Like one time you go on a vacation with your friends to like this really shitty ass fucking place, but you're with your friends, so you like laugh it off. You can still have a good time, right?
Yeah,
But
exactly.
then you go on vacation like by yourself, or like for example you go on vacation like a business trip or some shit, and all you're doing on that vacation is just working, and maybe you have like some free time. You're not gonna enjoy that as much as you would with just friends at that shitty place.
Yeah, like literally that's exactly the way I would put it. So I guess that the big overall point of this area of the conversation is that the external factors play more of a part in shaping the experience than the game itself. So that's why when I talk about the games, I separate the game from the experience. I talk about the game instead of the experience.
Well, I'm really glad that we came to that conclusion, that we can separate the experience from the games, and that, as you said, when you describe the game, you're only talking about the game itself rather than your experience with the game. Is that something we can agree on?
No, yeah, absolutely. And it's like I separate my opinion on the game from the experience.
So I think that is a ground that we can agree on, something that we can come to a conclusion on. There is one more thing though,
Yeah.
and that is based on the experience portion as opposed to the game. So thinking about the game aside, and going back to what you had said, that our perspectives shape our reality, would you say that our perspectives also shape our experiences with the games that we play?
I mean, yeah. Obviously, like when it comes down people's perspective, a lot of people don't like a certain type of game, and a lot of people love a certain type of game. So when that person who loves that certain type of game plays that type of game, they're more likely to like it. And the person who doesn't like that certain type of game plays that game, they're less likely to like it. And that's a good example of your perspective, playing into your experience of a game.
And so when you're talking about liking and not liking a game, do you think that this influences our experience with the game?
Personally, I don't think so. Because I think that I can just play like a really shit game. I could have a fun time with it, but then I could still just recognize that the game is shit and I could call it shit.
Right, but like we said, the experience is different than the game. So if we're talking only about the experience, do you think that our experience, separate from the game, is influenced by our like or dislike for the genre of the game?
Yeah. But I mean, at the end of the day, it all comes down to that external factor that's really going to shape the experience. Because I feel like that's when you play a game by yourself, that's absent. So it's more dependent on your liking of the game. Like I would never in a million years be playing this by myself because I don't have that external factor to carry the experience.
So let's think here for a second. So what are the things that make up a let's say a session with a game, to put it
The
vaguely.
things that make up a session with a game,
So
or
there's
just like a session of
so
playing the game.
what I'm trying to think about is we have the game itself, right? And like you said, when you criticize a game, you're talking about the game separate from your experience.
Yeah.
And we
I'm
also have
talking
the
about like, just the game.
experience, right? And like we've talked about in many different analogies, the things that we experience are different than how we experience them. Like with a movie, for example, it might be a bad movie, but you still enjoy it. Is there anything else that makes up the overall interaction with the game? So there's the experience you have that's separate. What is it that makes up the experience of the game, or experience that you have with the game?
Yeah.
You said that there's
First
this
and foremost,
outside
like,
force,
Yeah, the game itself.
this like outside influence.
Yeah.
Are you referring to friends that you play with, or like who you play it with?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm referring to when I say that. I mean, there's like a few other things that can influence the experience, like just like your general, how you're feeling that day, your general mood. That could definitely like affect the experience of a game. Because like sometimes I could be playing a fantastic game, I could be with a great group of friends, but if I'm just like in a really shit mood, like I don't know, I just woke up on the wrong side of bed, maybe something bad happened to me that day, I could still have a bad experience. Because at the end of the day, I feel like when you're playing a game with all these external factors present, a lot of the time those external factors are gonna take a much higher priority in whether the experience was positive or negative than the game itself.
Do you think that we are able to enjoy a game, the same game, based on how we are feeling that day?
Yeah, potentially. Like if I'm in a fantastic mood and I started playing this game, I would still probably think it's pretty bad. But I mean, even I was playing without you guys, like if I'm feeling like I'm in a really, really jovial mood, maybe I'll still have a good time. But I still probably wouldn't stay on it very long.
Okay, so trying to take a look at, so we have the experience separate from the game, and then we have the experience which is influenced by how you're feeling that day. So things involving your own personal interactions,
Yeah.
but also the people you're playing with. I think these are both very valid things that influence your experience with something. When we experience something, how does our individual experience differ from the experience we have with other people, that both go together to affect the overall experience that you have with the game? So how is our experience with ourselves and our own experiences different from the ones we have with other people?
Oh. Karina said, why did this start to do a podcast? We started having this conversation like an hour ago, and we decided to continue with
An hour ago. Oh, this conversation been going on for
okay,
like
a little
2
over an hour ago. But well, yeah. So what you're asking is like, how does our what shapes our experience on a game differ from the other people that we're playing with?
I'm thinking more about, yeah, that is kind of what I'm going towards, but I'm thinking more about separate from the game. So like for example, like you said, you might not be able to enjoy a game on your own, but you can enjoy it with friends. Why is that?
Yeah. Well, because your friends are that external factor that makes you have fun. It is these people, you enjoy being around them. You enjoy spending time with them. That's why you're friends, you know? Is that you enjoy each other's presence. You look forward to seeing them and interacting with them. That's why I think that the most accurate way to kind of judge a game is to separate these external factors from your experience and then leave your experience with just the game. Like, for example, well, like with this game, that would be like, what if I played this game without anybody in like a completely like neutral mood, you know? Like, how would the end result be of that experience? I feel like thinking about that hypothetical, that's the best way to kind of get, your opinion on if a game is good or not. At least
a
you're
good
trying to go
point.
about it this way.
So trying to
Yeah.
step back a little bit to myself, and sort of the reason why I brought this up. The experience that I have with the game, I think is very dependent on playing with you guys. But I think that there's also it's really more about, like we had talked about, how we interpret things is being different than the things that we interpret. So, like for example, you're talking about being with friends. When you play games with friends, the way you experience it with friends is different than how you experience it on your own. But the experience you have with your friends is also unique because like you might have a different experience on your own that differs from how you experience your friends. So in a way, you're experiencing two things at the same time. You're experiencing the game but also experiencing your interactions with your friends.
Yeah. And then there's also like a whole kind of modifier put on that. Now, when you bring up like your mood, and then you could also cite some other things from the game other than just the actual raw experience of the game, like how well you're doing in the game. That would also affect the experience.
I mean, the perfect
Like, you know,
example for like a game like this is Are We There Yet? I mean, if you play that by yourself, you might have a little bit of fun, but you're gonna have a lot more fun, like compared to when you're playing by yourself and you do good when you're with your friends and you fuck up all the time, but the entire RV breaks. If someone does something stupid, and then half the RV breaks, and then you have no scrap that you have to go with like a broken RV. Like those funny moments with your friends are way more valuable than just doing good by yourself.
yeah. And
It matter
another
a lot more.
thing, yeah, to kind of add on to that, one other thing that you'll only find in good games and not bad games is your ability to consistently have good experiences and better experiences on that game. You know, even like when you're with your friends. Because like if we played this game like 5 times in a row, I'd probably still have like an okay time, most of them, but I'd much rather be playing something else, you know? Because like if we're playing a good, like what I consider a good game, like RV There Yet, we don't get tired of that because the game keeps evolving and it keeps it fresh. So even though like we could just play this over and over again, and we still probably like wouldn't have an awful time, we'd much rather be playing a good game because then we have new stuff to look forward to in that and stuff that'll keep it fresh and exciting.
Yeah, I do agree with that. So what about our negative experiences though? If we have a negative experience with a game, what are some things that might influence that or might cause us to have a negative experience? Separate from the game itself. Or do you believe that the game
Well,
itself can also give us a negative experience?
The game
no,
itself.
the game itself can, but I feel like when it comes to the overall experience, the external factors are much more prevalent than the game when it comes to bad experiences and good experiences. Because I mean, I could be playing a great game, and I mean, like I said, like if I'm in an absolutely shit mood, something really bad happened to me, maybe, I can still have a really bad experience, even if I'm playing a really good game. I'm playing with you guys. And there could be other external factors, like, maybe I'm playing a really good game, but I'm playing with a group of pricks because, maybe you guys aren't available. So I just, find some random dudes on Discord and they're all like racist and they're assholes. And I'm like, man, why am I playing with these people? Like, I'm gonna have a bad experience. I'm gonna have a bad time. Doesn't matter how good the game is, because that external factor overpowers the game when it comes to the experience.
I think that it is important that you say that because I also agree that the external factor, like you're describing, by external factor you mean like the people you play with, right?
Yeah, people play with your mood. Also, I brought this up a little bit more recently, like whether you're winning or losing. I didn't go too much into that, but like
That's a
you're
good
playing a
point
really
too.
good game. It could definitely dampen the experience. You're gonna like absolutely shit on. Like we kind of felt that with Lethal Company a little bit. Now, the first time we played it, we were getting absolutely fucking bonked on. We were getting completely booty graped, but I was still able to recognize that at the end of the day, it's still a good game. We were just playing bad. And I still had a good experience overall, even though that definitely put a dampener on it because we weren't doing very good.
Yeah, and I mean that makes sense if you're not enjoying it, if things aren't going very well, or you're getting frustrated, it makes sense why you'd have a bad experience. But do you think Lethal Company is a bad game?
No.
Of course not. It's better than Repo.
Okay, well, I wouldn't say that, but it's definitely not a bad game. Like, you can have bad experiences on good games. That's why, like, whenever I try to, you know, form my opinion on whether a game is good or bad, I separate the game from the experience.
I think it's very valuable that you do that. Because playing with people, for me, it's the biggest reason why I really continue to play games. And obviously, there are random games that I play by myself. But
Yeah.
I actively look forward to doing Friendslop Friday with you guys. Like
Yeah, I
throughout
do
the week,
too.
it's something I look forward to doing. I look forward to playing with you guys. And so personally, I think that our perspectives are different, our experiences are different, the way we're feeling that day is different. But what ends up happening is, like you're saying, that the external factor that overpowers your experience with the game is very dependent on the people you play with. And so for me, when I go into a
Yeah.
game
That's probably the biggest factor, honestly.
looking towards, yeah, exactly, I agree with you. For me, that is the biggest factor for me, is who you're playing with. That
Yeah.
If that experience feels bad, like you're just not getting along with the people that day, that really puts me in a crummy mood, and it significantly lowers my overall experience with the game when I'm not having a
Mm.
good time with the people I'm playing with.
Yeah, I think that, like, another good way to put it, and like kind of into perspective, is that the game is a part of the experience, but the experience is not a part of the game.
But yeah, that's kind of the point I've been trying to push too, is how our
Yeah.
experience and our game are different.
Absolutely. Is this a pre-recorded? It's not a fucking pre-recorded video, Karina.
I hope you podcast, bro. Post this
Funny.
on Spotify.
Well, I'm gonna post the VOD on YouTube, so it'll be somewhere.
Oh yeah, absolutely, bro.
And half the
We
VOD is
call
just
it-
gonna be us talking.
That's funny.
Not dead ass, bro.
Oh, fuck.
Because for me personally, when I hear that you guys are criticizing a game, it sometimes feels as if my own perspective is being clashed, or that, I mean, I'm not saying that I have to change the way I think about the game. I can continue to think about the game how I think about it. But when I see that you guys are criticizing the game, it affects the way that I experience the game. It affects the way that I enjoy Friendslop Friday overall. Because not only are we playing these games together, we're also experiencing Friendslop Friday together. Like we had said, you can separate Friendslop Friday from the games that we play, but when we're playing with the same people throughout them, it affects my overall experience with Friendslop Friday. The way that you guys are feeling also affects how I'm feeling. The way that you guys talk about the game also affects how I'm feeling.
I think that where we were butting heads is that you were interpreting our opinions on the game as a reflection of our experience, which is not what we are trying to, say. Like, just because we say like a game is bad, that doesn't mean that we think or that we had a bad time on the game. I think that there might have been like some misunderstanding there. And that's kind of like what spawned the conversation.
I think you're right.
At
Yeah,
least, yeah,
that
that's
is
what's
what
my
spawned the
understanding.
conversation, and I think that we have both agreed that our experiences in the game are different. So when you guys criticize the game, you're not criticizing your experience, because, like you had said, your experience is influenced by those external factors, those being the people you're playing with, how you're feeling that day, and as you said, and I also agree with, the people you play with is overwhelming and influencing your experience with the game. And so understanding that those are separate for you, I think, is really important for me personally, to understand that, like,
yeah,
how you feel
absolutely.
about your experience, how you feel about Friends on Friday is that always how you feel, is not related to how you feel about the game, or how the game is, because those are two separate things that you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that we were able to put this out on the table. And another thing is that just because I'm able to have a good experience on a game, like, this is where, like, whether the game is good or bad really matters. What determines whether I come back to it is if I thought the game was good or bad. Because I could come back onto this game and I could perceivably have a good time if I played it with you guys again. But I would much rather, play a different game, because now there's not that kind of air of mystique. That question of, oh, how's this game going to be? I know what it's like, and I know that I would rather, play something else. Because even I would still have a good time on this, I'd have a better time on something else.
I do agree with you. I mean, I also think that I could continue to enjoy this game if I played with you guys. But like you had pushed on me before, I would not be able to play it on my own because it doesn't have that external factor. It doesn't have the external influence. Playing with you guys is the main reason I enjoy most of the games we play. In fact, like obviously, I think that is part of the game, that multiplayer ability.
Yeah.
And so because of that, I wouldn't be able to enjoy the games that we play together. But I think that the way that we experience games is different. The way that we our perspectives on the games are different. Not only our dislikes and our likes for games, what kind of games we tend to play, but also just the way we actively experience these new games. I feel like we go in with different heads. We go in with different perspectives. And sometimes we even play the games a little bit different. I mean, like when you play Repo, for example, I know you like to be goofy, you like to troll, which I think is great. Or like when we play Phasmophobia, there's not as much trolling in it, which is why I feel like you don't enjoy Phasmophobia as much. Is that it tends to be more focused on progression. It's a little bit more strict. Um, I've noticed that when we play games, you tend to choose games that are more silly, more lighthearted, which I think is a lot of fun. But we don't get to play a lot of games that don't have that same sort of interaction between players or those funny moments.
Yeah, because like I feel like I also definitely a big factor that affects my perspective is that I'm studying for like game design. Like I'm gonna major in game design.
Oh, I didn't know
So
that.
when I think about yeah. So like when I think about like whether a game is good or bad, I think a lot about like what makes the game on its own fun. Like how does the game change over time? Like what does this game do differently than other games? In a game like this, like sure it has some things it does differently, but it doesn't really do anything that makes me want to come back to it, and I just don't think it's designed well. And I can even apply it to Phasmophobia a little bit. I feel like Phasmophobia has a little bit of an issue with that too, where it's like once you get to a certain point, each round more or less feels the exact same, besides like a few differences depending on what ghost it is, which for me personally isn't enough for to keep me coming back to it. But I can at least like understand why like some people fall in love with like the gameplay loop and why like those little differences between the different ghosts that will eventually make the game more fun at a higher level. I can understand like why that's something that they like, but I just it doesn't change enough for me personally.
I see what you're saying. And I think that is
Yeah.
all because for me, I do enjoy that sort of consistency. Maybe part of the reason why you don't like it is part of the reason I do like it. I do like it that each round is very familiar and doesn't always change. Because to me, the outcome of each round is different. I mean, in Repo, you get these different maps, you make progress with abilities, you find new monsters. But for me, I enjoy mystery. I think that's what really I liked about Whimsical Artifact was that you didn't know what each artifact did until you tried it out. That made me want to keep playing, even though the things outside of it, there isn't really much variety there. Just that simple factor made me want to continue. Um, and when we play these Friendslop games, I oftentimes leech to like a certain thing that I enjoy about it, a certain aspect or something. Like the bike game, like we had finally got into it, and I felt like I kind of want to see what this is about. But then we had already gotten to the next game. I feel like I really didn't get to give it a try
Mm. I
because I
mean,
I
the
enjoy
thing
playing
with
games
this
with you
game,
guys. So when I feel like I don't get to play something, it's kind of like I'm choosing between either enjoying the game or enjoying hanging out with you guys.
I mean, I feel like another external factor this time is that Mr. D is sick and we're missing a person, so that obviously was like an additional dampener on our
That is a good point. I
experiences,
thought
which is
about that
normally
too.
different. Yeah. And another thing, like my thing with this game, I was also captivated by the different artifacts, but where they lost me is where like at least half the artifacts feel like they don't do much of anything or they just flat out don't do anything. So, when I started getting a lot of new artifacts and then they were like that, it just lost my interest very quick. Like the one I'm using right now, what the fuck does this even do? I'm putting a fucking drawing that says poo poo head everywhere. How is this helping me? What is this doing?
I feel like these Friendslop games we play really remind me of Flash games.
a little bit, in like a way. Like if you made
It's
a
kind of
a
like
Flash game
just a
multiplayer.
short little blip of a game that you experience for just a bit, and then you go about your day. I feel like we should go
Yeah,
into
and
these games thinking this game is going to be short term, but we're gonna try to find something to enjoy because we're just gonna play for today and that's it. Probably move it from our library.
yeah, I feel like there's like a good way to do this kind of game and a bad way. I feel like the ones that we played today more so aligned with the bad way, unfortunately. But that doesn't mean I'm gonna have a bad experience with these games. And another thing that I really like about Repo is how I feel like you say that I troll a lot in Repo, and I definitely do troll sometimes in Repo, but I feel like I'm in the grand scheme of things, I'm more objective based in Repo. But what I like about it is that while I can play objective based a lot of the time, then there's also a lot of times where I can just have fun and troll too, because the way the game is designed.
So would you say that you like a little balance of, I don't know what you want to call it, humor?
No, yeah, I know exactly what you're saying, and I definitely do appreciate that in games. A game where I could like actually like lock in and play the game. There's also like a lot of times, where it's like a perfect opportunity to do something funny and goof off a bit. Cause like I definitely feel like it's very oversold, or like people think like, oh yeah, he always trolls on these Friendslop games. Like in
Yeah.
Peak, I feel like Peak is another really good example. It's like akin to Repo. I feel like I'm definitely more objective based in Peak, but I'll definitely troll around sometimes, you know?
I think also another thing about playing with you is that we tend to play with chat. And so, like we had said before,
Oh yeah, yeah, we play with chat
the
every now and
external
then.
influences, and I know chat, they love to troll. Particularly with Repo, I find myself being dead a lot in Repo, and so very quickly I get bored because there's not anything to do while I'm dead. But when we do a game like this, or maybe what kind of like you had said before, when you're doing well in a game, you enjoy it more. When I'm doing well in a game and I feel like
Yeah.
I get to experience it with you rather than just being dead, it makes it feel a lot more fun to me.
Yeah, and you see what I love about the Repo team? They're actually making changes to remedy that and make that less, boring to go through. Because obviously being dead in the game is a necessary experience to have. You can't just like always be alive in a game like Repo. But they're actually adding new stuff to like make it so you could actually have an impact while you're dead instead of just sitting back and spectating until they get to the next point to revive you. Because they've already added the deadhead thing where you can like take control of your head while you're dead. You move around, talk
Right.
to your teammates. I think that's a really cool addition that they added. And then in this upcoming update 2, they're adding a med bot that will automatically revive you after you die.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so
I
that's like
do like that.
another way that
I do agree with
improving the
you. Like you had
problem.
said before, when games, are consistently updating, that changes the experience a lot. Because I've noticed that you do keep up with a lot of games. That's actually something I kind of envy is how you keep up with updates in games. I don't experience updates in games until they're like 3 years old.
Oh yeah, I mean, like with the games that I really like, I try to keep up.
That's part of the
Like
reason why I was so into what was it called? Fright by Night? Bite
oh
by
yeah,
Night?
Bite by Night.
That's
Yeah,
kind of the
that
reason I was so
like
into it.
just
I'm
came out.
like you had hyped up the game so much. I'm like, damn, this is gonna be awesome. I mean,
Hmm.
honestly did not enjoy it. I do not like the style of games. I feel like I'm really bad at them. And I don't
Yeah, I
because
mean
of that I
that's just
don't
like
enjoy
a
it. But you hyped it up
difference of
so much,
perspective.
and we were gonna play together. So I'm like, this is gonna be absolutely fun. And I think overall I did enjoy it, even though I didn't like the game. I did enjoy the experience. Um, Although now that I think about it, there are some games where I don't really enjoy the experience. Even though I do go in with like this sort of thought of whimsiness or curiosity, there's a lot of games that I don't enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, you're not gonna enjoy every game. That's like the reality of gaming at the end of the
Very
day.
true. But I think for me, for some reason, the Friendslop games that we play, I tend to enjoy them so much more than it seems like you guys do. And it sometimes affects me a little bit when I'm like these guys are just trashing on this game, and I'm kind of enjoying this, so I feel a little bit bad. But like you had said
Yeah, I mean, I
before,
know
the
what
way
you
you talk
mean,
about
but
the game is different than your experience with the game.
yeah, I think that was like the primary disconnect is that you saw like when I'm, shitting on a game, it's like, oh, he had a bad time. which that's not the way that like I view it at all.
You're pretty
You know, I
close to
think it's
doing the whole
it
room.
also. Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely see what you mean by that. And then also when it comes to like multiplayer games, you know, when a game like really captures like my interest and like they're able to, you know, add meaningful updates, you know, on a regular basis, I feel like like that's a really nice thing to have in a game. And that's not the kind of thing you're going to get from a Friendslop game. So it's very different when you're kind of, you know, comparing those two types of games.
That's a good
Like I
point,
get the
yeah.
impression, yeah, like I get the impression that you don't enjoy like competitive multiplayer games as much.
Well, the thing is, I do enjoy competitive multiplayer games, but I enjoy the multiplayer aspect. That's why I like team shooters a lot more than I do other games where you kind of just play solo. Like, for example, battle royales. I feel like I enjoy battle royales a lot less than team
Hmm.
shooters. Team shooters I enjoy because it feels like I'm standing with a team
Oh yeah, because like the interaction, yeah, with the other teammates.
yeah, exactly.
Well, I feel like, well, maybe you should give like Bite by Night another try then, because it is like very team based. But then again, like a big part of it, it's like with a lot of randoms. It's on Roblox. It's like you have a team of
Good
8
point, yeah.
people. But yeah, I mean, I feel like if you know you play the game again and we had like more people playing with us, you're able to like actually like strategize and you learned like you know more of the like the proper way to play the game. I feel like you would definitely have a better time on the game, and not just like your experience, but like your opinion of the game itself would probably improve.
I'm glad they brought that up though, because I do really enjoy it when we can slow down a little bit and actually start to improve in a game and get better. Obviously, that takes a
Yeah.
lot more time than just popping in and goofing around. But when we can like really start to like strategize, I really enjoy the aspect of games. That's why I've always really enjoyed card games because there's a lot of strategy in it. Um,
Oh
but of
yeah.
course, it's single player, or most card games are single player, and so it's like a single player
Yeah.
sort of strategizing aspect that I really like. But when
You
it
know,
comes
I
to
think
multiplayer
like
games, I wish I had a little bit of that aspect, that team aspect, that aspect of working together. That's why I kind of like Repo, but in some ways it feels like we're working against each other when first of all people's troll that happens,
hmm.
competing for upgrades, but also like when you're fighting monsters, it feels like everyone just kind of disperses. So Repo doesn't always
Hmm.
feel like a team. It feels like we're coworkers, but we're not like an actual team.
Oh, I mean, I totally get what you mean by that. I think that's like why a reason, like that's a reason why you click so much with Garden Warfare 2, because it really feels like you're playing like as a team the entire time.
Hmm. I mean, that's why
Like
I
even when
loved
it's you, you're not actively
Overwatch and
talking to them.
Paladins and TF2. So I like PvP games, but I like it when there's a multiplayer aspect going with it.
I mean, like my big problem with like you know Overwatch and like Marvel Rivals, the reason like I don't like them is that I feel like it forces you to play in like one way and a lot with the way it's designed. You know, like there's not like a whole lot of different things you can do with the characters. I just like don't find that as fun. Or with like Garden Warfare 2, in fact, there's so many different ways you can play and like experiment. And it's like the variant system, that's like one of the most genius things that Garden Warfare 2 has ever done. Because then you can play a class that you love in a completely different way, just from a simple change of the variants.
That's very true.
I feel
Yeah,
like that
I
like
also
that's such a
like
cool
that.
thing they came up with. Yeah.
And I almost wish there was more of that variety in other games. Like, I don't know, imagine if Repo had a class system.
Yeah, and like it's a real shame that they kind of pivoted away from that game design philosophy when they made Battle for Neighborville, which is like that's the PvZ shooter that
Oh, I've
came
been hearing you guys
after
talk
Garden
about it.
Warfare. Yeah, Battle for Neighborville is like okay, and like I can have fun on it, but it's just like it's kind of like I brought up earlier. Like with this game, like having an okay time on it, but it's like I'd rather play like pretty much any other game. And when I'm playing Battle for Neighborville, like I'm you know I'll have like an all right time, but I'm just the entire time and thinking, man, I would much rather be playing Garden Warfare 2.
Mm. That is a really good point. Yeah.
Why, bro? I know if it's too slop.
Sure, yeah.
What do you mean by slap salsa?
I mean, like, I don't know if it's too slop. It shouldn't exist as the worst game ever.
How do you define
Well, why
slop?
do you think
do you
that?
think that slop is a synonym of shit?
Let's see, this is different. I'm talking about like Garden Warfare 2 slop. When I mean like Garden Warfare 2 slop, that means like shit, like horrible. Any other slop means it's like it's alright. Like like it's okay.
So
Okay,
what do you
I just
think
said
about Friendslop, the title that we give to this weekly event and the games that we play as being Friendslop? What do you think about that? How is that?
that the games aren't obviously the games aren't gonna be like no triple A like very well developed games. But they're not supposed to be like very horrible and like really underdeveloped games that you will find on like and you know what I mean like games that will have like PS1 graphics or like they have like 5 minutes of gameplay. So they're like okay games.
What do you
If that
like
makes sense.
about Friendslop games?
How
Or
you can
as you
have
define Friendslop games, what is it that you enjoy about them?
um, how do you fit this? The moments, I guess. I guess that's the
I like
best way to
that,
put
yeah.
it.
The moments.
I mean, that's kind of why I play it. If it wasn't like if you don't get funny moments out of it, then there would be no point of play
You know,
any
I
games.
like that you bring that up. What do you think about that, Goofball?
I mean, yeah, I completely agree that the moments are a big part. That's kind of speaking to what I said earlier. Like the experience is really in like what it comes down to on whether I enjoy my time.
I think the moments are really important. I mean, not just for the clips, but also like kind of the memorable things. Like, I mean, from the get go, when we played RV there yet, there were already funny moments happening. Like literally as soon as we went in, like first of all, there were the problems we had with the microphone, but then there are also some things about the physics of the game. Like you bring up a good point. The moments are really important in our enjoyment of the game, and I think that I really only had one moment when we first started Whimsical Artifacts, and that was just only on my own though.
Yeah, just like the moments is what builds up the bigger experience. There is no experience without the individual moments you have. They're just not.
You know, actually, it's what are some of the moments you guys think we had with Burglin Gnomes though?
Oh yeah, Berglund
The
gnomes.
gun. The
Oh yeah,
gun.
the gun. Yeah, that's a
Gun's
big
Oh,
really
one.
that's
disappointing.
true.
The
Yeah,
struggle with the
I
gun.
do like that. You know, what when you put it that way, I think about some of the games we didn't enjoy, and I think they didn't really have moments. You know?
Yeah, exactly. I feel like that's like the critical piece of the puzzle we kind of been looking for a really long time in this conversation.
See,
The enjoyment of the experience is all
that's what makes
dependent
a
on the
game a game.
moments.
That's what makes a game a game. If you can have moments in them. For example, you
Yeah.
take a game like Repo versus Dig Dig Die. Repo, you can have a lot of moments. Like you could just when you're not supposed to talk, scream out loud and they get someone killed. I know I've done that many a times. And then Dig Dig Die, the only moment you will have is running away from a spider that does maybe like 10 health. Like it take away 10 health and that's it.
Well, I think it's more than just
Yeah.
the possibility of moments, but how soon they happen. I mean,
Well,
like
yeah, I
when
feel
we
like
played Dig Dig Die, we played it for a little bit, and nothing really happened. The only moment I
yeah, to
had
speak
wasn't
to
really a
that.
moment in this regard, but it was when I had gotten curious about some of the things like on the map. There's like the underground mansion I was kind of curious about. But that's not really a moment in the way of like you go into this house, you open a drawer and you see a gun. Now it's like, oh dude, and then he picks up the gun. It's like it starts to snowball. The moment starts to carry on. I think those are some really
Yeah.
important things to take into account in how you enjoy games with that external factor, like with your friends, but also
Yeah.
for yourself
I
too.
think Yeah, I think that the best way to put it is that the factors of the experience cultivate these moments. Yeah, like a good way to quantify it is that you take all the external factors, like the friends you're playing with, the mood you're in, like how good you're doing in the game, and then you kind of use the game itself as like a multiplier. Like you put that through like a shitty game, like Dig Dig Die. That's gonna be a low multiplier. You're not gonna have many moments at all. But then you put that through, like, you know, a really good game like Repo, that'd be like a big multiplier that would become many memorable moments in that game. And then, of course, you know, if the external factors aren't so strong that day, you know, you're playing with less people, you're feeling a little bit down, you're still gonna have less moments overall, but you're still gonna have some moments. So that's like where the importance of the game comes in, because even if it doesn't come to like it doesn't play a big part in whether the experience was positive and negative, the external factors plays a bigger part there. I feel like the game itself plays a bigger part in actually building up these moments, which then create the entire experience.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, the individual moments, I think those are like the key thing. It's sort of like the key ingredient in making the experience of the game good, especially when you're playing with other people. Because even if you have different perspectives going in, when you have those moments, it sort of breaks down those barriers that we have, you know? Like if you go
Yeah,
into a
like
game and you're like, oh dude, like you're laughing, that very easily you can start to break down those barriers you have. Like it sort of builds a connection in the game in that moment, right?
well, yeah, this is like the entire breakthrough that we were looking for, because the difference between a bad game and a good game, in terms of the experience, is the moments that you're gonna have. Because we haven't had moments on this game, the last one, because they're not good games. Obviously, you could also credit like the time we played them to that.
That's what I
But
was
I mean, I feel
thinking,
like even
yeah.
if we did, yeah, even if we did sink another few hours, like we still wouldn't have had that many moments. So that's like really, when it comes to the experience, that's the big part that the game plays, not whether you had a good or a bad time, but the moments that it creates.
But it's the moment
A
that
good game will
that
create
it
lots of
creates.
moments, and a bad game will create a few moments, if any at all.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I do like that.
Why y'all having this deep combo on stream?
Where else
This
would we
got to
have
be
it?
pre-recorded in a loop. Well, yeah. Well, why not, Mud? And you
Like,
know,
we're gonna have it on what? Freaking on Spotify, like in a personal call.
yeah, this is where you know I upload my content, I upload my experiences, and you know, this conversation is now one of my experiences.
Wait, that's actually a good idea. One of your experiences. Make this into a clip. Make it into a clip. Clip
You know, I'm
form.
turning into a
Okay,
VOD, dude.
bro.
And this is a long convo.
Yeah, man.
Like
I
stuff.
mean, I make all my stuff at the VODs,
But you
but
can put this into a clip.
it's a
Bro.
good conversation, though.
Put the beginning of the clip and then like put it in a time lapse, and it would be like still a 30-minute fucking.
Did
clip.
we get into an
Oh my
argument?
God.
I think we might have for a little bit. But for me, it was just a moment for me to try to learn a little bit about Goofball's perspective, and also try
Yeah, the main
to
reason
talk to
why
him a
is
little
because
bit about
me and
my
Mr. Dill.
perspective.
Yeah, me and Mr. Dill were saying these last two games that we played were booting, because they are. And he was like, "Oh, you know, why exactly do you think that?" And that's what sparked the whole conversation.
By
Also,
the way,
do you
one
like what
time
I've done with the
bro,
room?
I played like 30 games of 2K and like 7 games of chess, and during this conversation.
2 games of
Oh
chess.
yeah, I'll
Huh?
bet. Yeah, you're a little intellectual, Mr. Dill.
I like it. I like
I
it.
like chess.
I like chess too, but I could never stick with it. In the same way that I enjoy playing games socially, chess is more of a competitive game, right? It's not like this team-based chess. So I wasn't able
Yeah.
to stick
Yeah.
with it for a long time.
Goofball always complains about games, though. You see me complaining about Garden Warfare 2?
Yes.
Brilliant.
Literally every single time. Like every single time you get on it because of some bullshit. Like, oh my god, how'd he hit me from there?
Look, if you cannot
How did-
complain
Yeah, but
about
don't say the game
something,
is
you don't
bad.
you can't say you enjoy something if you can't complain about it. I mean, there's nothing is perfect, and every game,
Yeah,
even
like
if you love it, there's still something to complain about, and and that might be a complaint that keeps you going. So, you know, something you don't like about it that you want to overcome.
there's no such thing as saying that's like all good. There's always good with the bad,
But besides Mimesis.
bad with the good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Nemesis. Sure.
Wait, you don't FW in Mimesis, bro?
No, I agreed with
And
you,
I
bro.
feel like Mimesis is really incurious to me, and we could talk even more about this, but and I really did enjoy it. I feel like there were moments with it. I don't know.
Yeah, but the thing is that I feel like the moments ran out quickly, though. Like, there's there's lots of moments at the beginning, but what really marks a good game is the ability to consistently create moments like that. I feel like all the moments are in the first 30 minutes. Then after that, it was just kind of like exponentially decreasing.
I do agree with you. Yeah, it feels like for me and Globby, even though we do play it from time to time, it's more for the progression rather than for the moments. So I do
Yeah,
agree
I
with you
mean, like,
there. I agree with you there. Yeah.
and those moments that we did have shows me that the game has potential, but they really just need to hone that potential in and refine it and expand upon the ideas that they already have in the game more. RTF has anyone ripped our ears out already? Ripped our ears out. I think you mean off. Is ripping them out would imply that they're inside our body instead of attached to it, but I don't know, little bud.
Yeah, Buzz, have you ever had a conversation that's actually changed your perspective on anything? And I don't mean the kind of like, damn, damn man, you're right. It do stink in here. I mean like a
I
conversation that's
mean,
actually changed your value or an opinion, something that you felt, something you believed in.
been saying the same thing for 2 hours? Not at all, bro. I feel like we came to
Oh
actually
yeah,
like a very meaningful conclusion.
yeah, it was
I'm
really
gonna go
nice.
down now,
And yeah, we
so
gained perspective on, both each other's opinions in the way that we experience these Friendslop Fridays in these games.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
really crucial.
Nice, man. I'm gonna go lay down.
Oh, so you read a boss chat, but out of the 100 chats I sent, you don't?
Good night,
Well, at
y'all.
that point, we're like deep in the conversation. We're like at the conclusion here.
Yeah, I
We're
think we're.
just, sharing some end thoughts,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's a finally, but you can get on peak and shit. Like, oh my god.
Actually, I'm still thinking about what you said about the moments. By the way, Salsa, thank you for that. I'm gonna credit you for that realization. Because um, as a game developer, what comes to mind when you consider this moments aspect? As someone who's thinking about how you design games, what do you do when you want to create more moments like the ones we're describing in a game?
Well, ironically enough, I feel like you don't really want to focus on what creates moments. Like, you don't want to have that in mind when you're designing the game, because it's not like, the game itself, like, they're trying to like make a game that creates a lot of moments. That's why I feel like a lot of games that, like new Friendslop games, they're just like, oh, whoa, look at all this crazy shit that's happening. Like, they don't really take off as much, because like, what's really important is that you just make a good game that people can keep playing, and then the moments will naturally spawn.
I like that. Yeah, the moments will naturally spawn.
Because it's one of those things that if you just go in with the philosophy that, like, oh yeah, I need a game that's gonna have like a lot of crazy moments, it's like clippable, memorable stuff, then you're gonna probably end up achieving the opposite. Like, it's one of those things that just comes with having a good game.
Yeah, it's kind of like how you were talking about. You mean a game can have a moment, but still not be able to carry itself. It might have a certain
Yeah,
gimmick, kind of like how you talked about Mimesis. It has the gimmick, but it doesn't really carry it. It doesn't
yeah,
continue with it.
exactly. And because like the game loop itself just honestly isn't very good. Like, as a good gimmick, it has good aspects, but the good aspects are not enough to carry the entire game.
Alright, but I'm actually gonna go lay down.
All right, take care, Salsa.
I'm quite frankly surprised you haven't already. And
Yeah, me too.
This conversation.
It's getting really late for you guys.
So
yeah, little bud.
Why is Vlad
2
still
a.m.
live? Well, it's one of those late night conversation sort of things.
Conversation, little bud.
The way I've been thinking about games has changed a lot over the years. I mean, it's funny now that I'm actually kind of reverting back because now I'm playing Mice and Monsters, Geometry Dash, and what else? Yeah, these two games that I played freaking when I was like 12.
Now, you can kind of also credit, moments to that as well. Because the moments you had with these games when you were younger is, why you look back on them so fondly.
That's a good point too. Yeah, And that's something that you don't get with these Friendslop games. And I use Friendslop very loosely. I don't really like the term. I just do it because it's easy to communicate the idea.
Yeah, that's like exactly my perspective too. Like, I don't agree with it, but it's a funny term and it's widely recognized, so that's why I use it. Also, it creates the signature Friendslop Friday name.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Battle Cats 2, Yabuz, thank you very much for that. I also started playing Battle Cats 2. And you're right, nostalgia plays a big role in it, and you don't really get that with these Friendslop games. I mean, they're completely new, like when you go into it, kind of like how we talked about, you might judge a book by its cover. This is like a book without a cover. You really have no idea what you're getting into. Like you might
Yeah,
see
and
the
this is why a
picture,
lot
you
of people
might
are
see
nostalgic for bad games.
That's a good point, yeah.
Also, sorry, I did kind of cut you off right there, but
No, it's fine, it's fine.
That just popped up. I wanted to pop that thought bubble.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, people are very nostalgic, but these games that we play weekly, they don't have that. So, there's really, I think that also, I've talked about this before. Kind of like how you said, people will be nostalgia over bad games or play games that are bad because of nostalgia. I feel like it's important to separate things from how they are from how they used to be. Kind of like how you were talking about how you were feeling that day, the things that influence you individually. Those things were very different when you were a kid, right?
Yeah.
Like when
no,
you're a kid,
absolutely.
there are certain games you absolutely love just because you're thinking differently, you're enjoying things differently. And a lot of people kind of stick with those ideas. I mean, I still love the games I play now, even though there's some nostalgia in there. They're just kind of like these silly games to play. I don't know if I would still play them if I didn't have that experience before. But it is important, I think, to separate your nostalgia from something that you're enjoying for a nostalgic reason. Like a movie or a game.
Yeah.
Or a book.
No, yeah, absolutely.
But these Friendslop games we play, they don't have that, and so it's like all unknown, original. I mean, even the concept of the game itself, I feel like is pretty new in recent years, or at least the standard style we still the common style that we see of getting with people. You go into somewhere, you get something, you get out. That
there's some earlier like variations of it that share like the same general like idea that like you just do a bunch of goofy stuff with your friends. Like good example is Gang Beasts.
Oh
like
yeah,
that I would say that fits like the Friendslop tag really well.
That's actually funny too, because even though those ones are older, they also got popular from streamers and from Let's Players. So they're also they very accurately fit the Friendslop title.
Yeah, and then like the traditional kind of Friendslop games that we know today are really just like an offshoot of that, and they blew up so much that it just kind of became like its own particular thing.
Mm-hmm. I think we've had a pretty good conversation.
I think so too.
Yeah. I feel enlightened.
All those poo-poo heads in the chat, we're telling us to stop just because it's not.
Maybe they should try to listen and see if there's something they can gain from it.
Well, I mean, yeah, a lot of people, they don't think like that. They just tune into the streams to, just get their hype moments and aura.
Sure. Yeah.
And, I'm not saying that you're wrong for thinking that way. Like, I'm not saying that you guys have to come in here for the intellectual conversations. But
that's why I watch
Goofball,
man, every week.
Oh yeah, but the point I'm trying to make here is that you should really just be open to more things going on.
Yeah,
bro, y'all said the same thing for 3 hours. That's that closed-minded mindset right there, boss. Because we really haven't been.
I would love to quote Meditations for you, Bus, because what was it? I'm probably going to paraphrase this wrong, but when you don't understand the universe, you can never understand what's going on in it. Or when you don't know the universe, you never understand what's going on in it. Like if you don't know what's going on around you, you don't start to understand what's going on, what actually is going on around you, and to understand what it's all about. You're kind of blind to curiosity. You become, like you said, closed-minded. You don't really think about differences. You don't think about things outside of yourself.
Goofball's invested in this game now. I wouldn't say that, Mr. Delm. The only thing I'm invested in is filling this room with poo-poo heads.
Poo-poo heads.
And the conversation, of course. Yeah, it's almost fully done.